All right, what's going on, everyone out there on the interwebs? Welcome to episode number 6 of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy, aka the man who did not have Maniac on his top 10 list of 2013.
I like it.
I am joined, of course, as always, by my co-host JP, aka the man who hates Pee Wee's Playhouse, and my other co-host, Moodz 616.
I don't
We have
even
a,
get to respond to that. I don't even get to say.
we have
Oh,
a
that's a
That's right. I don't just hate Pee Wee's Playhouse. I hate Pee Wee in general.
oh my god. Oh, it's so disheartening. He's so funny.
We have a full show for you guys tonight. Of course, we're going to be starting off with the news so we can get all this Friday the 13th found footage bullshit out of the way. Then we're going to be jumping into Mood's Corner where talking about the top 5 horror films from high school that we remember. Then we'll be going to what we watched. Then we're going to be going to a discussion of one of my favorite horror films of the last, 10 years, and that, of course, is Hobo with a Shotgun. And then that shall be it. So let's go right into the news with JP. So go ahead, JP.
Okay, so this past week there have been some people making videos talking about how the new Friday the 13th film is found footage. Now, this all started, as far as I can tell, I kind of tracked it back to one person, and there's a YouTuber by the name of Wet Movie One. He's pretty popular.
I knew it. We were talking about this last night. I even said to Jeremy, I said, I know it was Wet Movie 1, reported some old news, and it went viral.
Yep.
Yeah, it was old news. We actually talked about the same news that he reported on the first podcast.
Yep.
So everybody what he did was he made a video with bad information. It wasn't necessarily bad. It was just kind of taken out of the. It was kind of twisted a bit because what actually had happened was when the press release for the new Friday the 13th film was released, they when they released the date and stuff, March 13th, 2015. They also said that they were thinking about found footage in it. Now, there's this website called horrormovies.ca or something like that. And that's the source where Wet Movie actually got the information from. And that source was dated like November 28th or October 28th, something like that. It was old. And in that information, it said that it's confirmed that it was found footage, which that has never been confirmed at all. And actually, today, some new news hit. And it goes to say that, so this is brand new news here. The guy, Brad Fuller, who is one of the people in Platinum Dunes, Michael Bay's production company. It's run by Brad Fuller, actually. They produced the 2009 remake, and Fuller recently opened up when asked if Derek Mears would be returning to the role. Fuller answered, this is a quote, "Again, I don't know because I don't know if we're going to have Jason. I don't know which Jason we're going to have. I can tell you this. I love Derek Mears. I love working with him. He's a dream, so we'd be lucky to have him." And then he goes to say, I'd love to have Mears back. I'd also love to have, Jason Voorhees. Fuller also mentioned that they're not yet 100% locked on a script or the found footage direction. So once again, I'm saying this, it was never confirmed. It was just a thought thrown out there. However, I do like that everybody got all pissy when they believed that it was confirmed, because that's actually a good thing that everybody made videos and was like, this is bullshit, because, they're
Yeah,
going to
but do you
listen
really
to
think
us,
they give a
possibly.
shit?
Yeah, they do. If it's been proven that if
Google
people
really gave a
fucking
shit to us,
I
right?
think that they really should give a shit because,
they
we're the fans and we're the ones that are going to
it
support these projects. And
it
if it
just has to be,
fails,
if we yell loud enough, they will hear it. But the problem is nobody yells loud enough. You've seen time and time again when people, the Kevin Smith Tusk movie, people yelled loud enough that they wanted it, so he's making it. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, he also goes to say, it's something that we're looking at, the found footage angle. I never know because it depends on the story. What the story is, it's been reported that's something that we're looking into, but I can't tell you definitely that that's what the movie is. I'm well acquainted with some of the very loud members of the audience who hate found footage, and I understand that. I think for us, it's more about the story, what the story is, and what's the best way to tell it. Until we figure out exactly what the story is for the next Friday the 13th movie, I can't tell you what it's going to be. So right now there's not even a fully, locked script. There's no 100% found footage thing. People just got some bad information that kind of, went a little, like semi-viral in our little movie community world.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah,
That
it kind of it kind of bummed me out when I seen everybody talking about this. I'm like, already talked about this a month ago or 2 months ago or whatever, and I right then when like the same thing with Curse of Chucky, people see like new Friday the 13th in the works could be found footage and instantly think that that means it's found footage. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's interesting that they reported that. I mean, there's kind of a hint there that if we even have a Jason, what are they going to do? Remake Part 5?
Well, I was thinking more
That's
along
an
the lines
interesting.
of remaking Part 1.
Well, I mean, but that's exactly where they shouldn't go, though.
Yeah, I think
Because
they should.
I agree.
I think they should come out with a new original movie that adds on to the franchise. Not a
Or
remake, not a reboot, none of the thing. Just a new original Friday the 13th, like they were been doing for fucking
Yeah, I think
25 years,
I think even the
35 years.
idea. I think even the idea of remaking the first one is just a poor choice.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do too.
I just don't see how it could ever possibly work.
Even if it's a shitty sequel, at least it's a sequel, and people can't bitch that
Yeah.
it's a remake or a found footage. Or
I think even
none of
throwing
that
around the
shit.
idea of not having Jason in the film is a bad idea. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Or check this out. It might be a good idea if it's gonna be a surprise. Like if you can pull it off and you can say like, look, we're not having Jason, and then bam, halfway through the movie, Jason pops up and you're like, holy fuck, Jason's in this shit. That would be awesome.
Yeah, but that's not gonna. You
It's
can't do that in Hollywood. There's no
not in
way.
modern
It would
times.
get leaked in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
yeah,
for
that's the
sure.
thing. It would just never work.
Yeah, I mean there have been cases. I think there have been cases where there's been cameos that haven't been leaked, and actually were surprises. But it's hard to do with something like Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And I think that I think that the found footage idea is bad. I think they're not going to do it. Hopefully, I also think that the idea of just man, I don't want to see another fucking make. Please no. What if they actually maybe they're gonna fucking actually make it about the holiday Friday the 13th, and all kind of bad shit's gonna happen.
Like Halloween 3.
It's a joke. That was a joke.
Yes, I understand.
I honestly don't even understand how a found footage film could even be remotely believable, and even tossing around the idea doesn't even make sense to me. Like,
See,
is it
I
gonna?
disagreed to that a bit because when we talked about this before, I think that out of like, I
But
think
okay,
that
but how are they going to link this? This is my only question. How are they going to link this? Are they going to link this to the original series, or are they going to link this to the remake, or
it'll
the
probably be its
reboot, or
own
whatever?
thing.
It'll be
Probably be
just its
its
own. So it's just going to be it's just going to be like another startup and start off
Well,
with a found
the
footage.
way I would
See,
see it
this
go
is what I
is
don't get.
a group of if I this is what I would predict it would be a group of kids or know the legend of this killer named Jason Voorhees at this rundown camp called Crystal Lake. They want to document it. They want to Blair Witch style it. They roll up in there.
Oh
They
God.
don't see nothing but leaves crunching and shit.
So
And
like
then
every other found footage film that's come out.
Yeah, there's
exactly, they
nothing
want to
new
make
in
a
the found.
documentary.
Yeah,
I'm
there's nothing new to the found footage.
I agree. I
I mean,
do think it's a
this is
bad
based off
idea, but
stories.
I'm saying if done absolutely right, I think I think that it could fucking actually work if done right. But there's no way you're gonna do that right. You're gonna have to be inventive and it's gonna have to be new and fresh. But I'm just saying, like if like you're not gonna do that on Haddonfield Street. You're not gonna do that on Elm Street. In the Woods Friday the 13th, I think that it kind of fits if you're gonna make any like franchise of found footage franchise after it hasn't been a found footage franchise. I
Yeah, I
think
guess the
Friday the
setting.
13th is the
The,
best one that you're going to be
yeah,
able to do.
I mean, if you compare it to those other franchises, of course, because Friday the 13th takes place in the woods, and what no better place? And I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
it hasn't been
It's
done
still a
before, right?
terrible idea.
It
Like,
is. It really
I'm
is.
just kind of playing devil's advocate and, I kind of want to,
But my
go
only
against
question
it.
is though, most found footage films are made on minuscule budgets, so they They kind
Well,
of work
that's
on that
probably their idea.
on that level, right?
That's
So
exactly why that just totally makes sense. That's exactly why they're thinking about it, because you can make a Friday the 13th for $6 million, and if it's found footage or in space or whatever, you will make that $6 million back just by fans' curiosity alone, like instantly. It'll be a $20 million opening weekend, easy,
yeah,
and that's an
they're
instant profit.
so they're just intending to make a purposely low budget film then.
Yeah,
With the
probably.
intention of just exploiting the subgenre of fucking found footage to make
They
money.
have no intention of making a creative, putting their heart into it movie. The Friday the 13th is never about that.
See, my problem is that they're going to put some money into this film, make it found footage, and it's going to look overproduced because everything in the film is going to be,
perfect,
good effects and stuff, but it's found footage.
That,
I'd be like, oh my god, this is like Hollywood at its worst right here. You can't found footage films. The whole point of them is to be low budget and kind of shoddy made, like it's supposed to be real, right?
It's gonna make me mad. Like it's gonna piss me the fuck off. If it's found footage.
God damn, dude, I am. I can feel my.
I'm such a lover of the series, and it just
sucks. It just sucks that it has to come to that, though. I mean, if it actually goes through, fuck me, man. I don't know. Can you? I just can't
honestly,
imagine
what would you do with the series? What would you do with the series right now?
Well, first of all, I would never consider making a found footage film. That's for starters.
Yeah.
I mean, that just wouldn't even
cross my mind.
No.
That's something that you say like as
I'm
like
not really too sure.
Joke.
I'm not really too sure because what they did with the reboot, like I think I would probably want to. I don't fucking know. Screw it. Just make a Jason vs. Freddy Part 2.
Right? Yeah. I wish they could. No, honestly, I would make a sequel to the remake because I don't think it works. If you was gonna go back to the original series, where do you pick it up? Do you pick it up after Part 4? Do you pick it up after, Part 9? Do you pick it up after Part 8?
Part 8.
Do you pick it up after Part 10?
Forget Part 9 and 10 ever happens.
Part 8.
Yeah, right say, right after Jason on the Love Boat.
Yeah.
You go into something else. So
yeah. Okay. Well, I actually heard a person's idea about this before on another podcast, the Skeleton Crew, I believe, and his idea was after Jason melted up in the city of New York in the sewers, he was transformed back into a little boy at the end of the film, right? I mean, it was stupid, but that's what happened. Mm-hmm. His body floated out into the New York River and floated back to Crystal Lake, and he was a boy again. And because
that always happens. It's realistic though.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that you can get to fucking New York from Crystal Lake, anyways.
I know that's the most.
So why not, right? I mean, but so the he starts from a kid again, and like that's all right, I guess. Anyway, enough Friday the 13th talk. It's gonna take up the whole show if we keep talking.
We'll be here for 4 hours.
So yeah, I think everybody in the world agrees that found footage is a bad idea. So I think maybe that's why they're pulling away from it, because they say right there in the quote that he's noticing fans are not liking that. So all right. Next up, there was a trailer for an Eli Roth produced film called Clown, and I guess it's pretty scary. I didn't watch it.
It's pretty
cool.
I'm
done with trailers.
Is it just called Clown?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
wow,
honestly, dude,
that title alone is major creative, though.
Why is there not more? Why is there not more horror films that are straight up horror films involving clowns? Why?
I think they make a lot of low micro budget killer clown films, but in mainstream kind of films,
that shit sucked.
Yeah, there's a lot of really bad ones, but yeah, they don't make a lot of mainstream.
And Clown House.
What about Stitches?
That's not that's horror comedy.
I suppose so.
Suppose?
Well, yeah, you know what I meant, JP.
Horror. All right, but anyway, I think it's a good. Eli Roth.
All Hallows Eve is pretty fucking horror, and that's Clown. So.
Well, that's awesome. I'll have to check it out then. So Eli Roth producing that. It's on my radar just from the buzz that it's getting right now. Next up, Uwe Boll, that guy. Everybody know that guy or whatever. I don't even know if I pronounce his name right.
Yeah, he's a great director, man. He's awesome.
Well, he made a film called Rampage, which I actually think I seen. I think it was.
That's the one with the guy with the guns on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that movie is by far his best. He's made some real piece of shit
Yeah, well,
movies,
the
man. And he's
article
actually known
even
for making. But Rampage, awesome movie, man.
Yeah, he says the article actually says, Uwe Boll is directing a sequel to Rampage, his only good movie. So
Actually, it is kind of crazy though, because that one really does stick out in his catalog. Like, it's a really well made movie, but making a sequel to it, really?
I guess it's already started filming, so that's happening.
Interesting.
Let's hope it comes out before Leprechaun, the fucking movie, comes out.
Yeah, I know, right? Next up, Purge 2 is going to be take place in a upscale suburban thing, and there's going to be
that sounds like the first movie already.
Upscale suburban.
None of the same characters, and I think it's.
Wow, I can already see the ending of part 2. It's going to be very reminiscent of part 1.
I think the whole movie is going to be very reminiscent of part 1.
No, I think it's going outside, and it's going to be in a war zone type area, like where shit's popping off and people are just trying to survive.
I mean, it was kind of where it should be going, thow. I mean, they can't do if they do another house setting, you're making the first one.
Well, they say it's going to be a look at the Purge from a different angle.
Yeah, so you take it to the streets where everything is like, fucking crazy.
Yeah.
After that, Shout Factory announced another title, Dead Shadows. I think this is a newer title, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Cockney Zombies and Dead Souls and stuff like that.
Well, I think this new movie is actually another chiller film.
I'll have to look.
Okay, well, this is actually a French. It says that it's a French horror action thriller. And it's going to include the original French track with subtitles along with the English dub track.
Cool.
Fuck you, English dub.
I don't know when that comes out. Also, did see I don't know exactly when, but I think Nightbreed has been pushed back again or something.
Yeah, till fall.
Fall. Okay. Yeah.
I kind of predicted that too. I even said that it's probably not going to drop until 2015 because it keeps getting pushed. So
we have Twin Peaks. I guess there's going to be like there was some like press type thing released saying that they're looking for some kind of promo or something, and directed by David Lynch, January 7th, 2014. It's like a casting call or something, so I don't know what the hell it is.
So it's like a reboot, or is he just redoing?
It might be like new footage. It might be like it was a casting call to Twin Peaks promo. That was what it was called. So who the fuck knows? It might be like a commercial. I don't even know.
Interesting.
I did pick up the Twin Peaks gold box set thing, which I've still not watched any of it, but I plan on it really soon. But I know there's a lot of fans of it out there, so I thought I'd throw that in the news. I promise next week.
How's that in the news and not fucking Pee-wee? Damn it.
Oh yeah, something about Pee-wee. Jeremy told me to say. There's
Pee-wee's
like a
Playhouse is coming out on Blu-ray, the entire series.
Yeah, that's what
from
it was.
Shout Factory.
Oh, the entire series?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's released by Shout
You
Factory.
mean to tell me that show has more than one like episode?
It has like 60 episodes.
It was like 2 seasons, but yeah, there's a lot of episodes.
So yeah, that's the news this week. Next time I'll be more prepared. Sorry.
All right, cool. Lots of interesting news, lots of stuff that we could debate about for hours. But so now we're gonna go into a question that Moodz asked 2 weeks ago, and that of course was the top 5 horror films from our high school days. I don't really think that was really our top 5, but movies that stuck out to us when we were in high school.
Yeah,
so,
not when they came out. The years that they came out, just actually when you was there, like even if you've seen them later, past your high school years, that doesn't count. It's the ones that came out and you've seen them.
Yeah.
At that time.
Just take the years you went to high school and the movies that came out in those times. I mean, we all saw movies when we were in high school, so which ones meant the most to you?
Going through the list, I realized, like, man, my horror in my high school was kind of sad.
I had some good stuff. A lot of low budget. I mean, a lot of indie stuff. Not very much.
This was what was so interesting about the question, because we you guys went to high school relatively around the same time, but I went to high school at a time where horror was fucking dead.
What years did you go to high school from?
94 to 98, which is that transitional period in the 90s when, big budget horror movies weren't being made. I mean, they still were, but not on the scale of the 80s, right?
Yeah.
So, but it is a very interesting time. So, but I'll get into my list. So you guys can go ahead with yours.
We're just gonna name them off fast.
Sure.
All right. Number 5, I said The House of the Devil. Number 4, Rubber. 3, I actually gave to Grave Encounters, which is an awesome found footage flick in my opinion. 2 VHS and 1 Hobo with a shotgun, of course.
Somehow I fucked up. I thought I went to. How many years? You're in high school for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Why do I think that I was in high school in 2006? It feels like I was.
You probably were.
2006 to 2010? Is that 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hobo with a Shotgun. We're obviously going to talk about that one.
Yep.
House of the Devil actually have those were the most important noticeable films for you when you was in high school.
Yep. Yeah. So, I was the only one watching these low budget. Shit.
Yeah, because mine's drastically different.
Yeah.
Yours is way more indie than mine.
Yeah.
Mine. These are in no order. I don't think we had to order them, right?
No.
Okay. Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. When that came out on DVD, I bought it first day. Used to watch it with girls all the time, partying and stuff. We'd just sit over there and watch Texas Chainsaw. I'd make them watch it like 30 times. I actually really liked it at the time. I like it a little less now. Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning was pretty cool back then, though. Then The Hills Have Eyes, which
I was gonna put that
came
on
out.
the list,
Dude, that kind of got me back into the full swing of horror. I was like, that was fucking so dope. It's one of my all-time favorite remakes.
Yeah, it is my favorite remake. I love that.
It's really good, isn't it?
It's really good.
It's a really good remake.
Yeah.
And then after that, Hostel 2. I was such a huge fan of the first Hostel. It was like I'd never seen anything like it at the time. All the crazy torture stuff.
His favorite word, torture porn.
I didn't see it.
Ugh.
I didn't see anything like that. And I remember buying Hostel 2 when it first came out, and I had a friend who was would not he kept leaving the room because he couldn't watch it. He was a pussy about it. And then after that, Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
When that came out, 2007, I've watched it every Halloween since. Such a big part of my high school time. And then finally, Friday the 13th, the remake. When that came out, it was such a big deal to me. And I invited a friend over, the same friend who was a pussy and couldn't watch Hostel 2. And we watched every single Friday the 13th during that week because I didn't go to school that whole week. Because I think it was in the summer, right? Yeah, it was in the summer, I think. It might not have been. Anyway, I wasn't in school, if it was during school or not. And we watched every Friday the 13th, and his name was Jason, and then went and seen it, and there was a huge group of 20 of us. It was really awesome. And the first pre-credit scene, one of the best experiences I've ever had in the theater. Afterwards, it's okay.
Nice.
All right.
So that's the 5.
Yep.
Yours 5 Moodz.
All right. So yeah, of course, I went to high school in the years of 1994 to 98. Like I said before, it was such a weird time for horror films. It's too bad I didn't go to high school in the 80s. This list would have been amazing, but hard to make. This one actually wasn't so hard. I basically came up with 5 that popped into my mind right away. From 1994, a film called Brain Scan.
Yeah.
Eddie
Furlong, out of print, hard to get now.
I loved when I saw this movie when it first came out, and I was 14 years old, and it just fucking blew my mind because the whole video game aspect. I was 14 years old, and I loved video games, and it worked perfectly. I was a big fan of Edward Furlong too because of Terminator and stuff, and so having that recognizable face in a horror film was pretty fucking cool. Yeah, man, it always stuck with me. I watched that movie over and over again all through my years, and yeah. So, but from 1995, I think I actually got the soundtrack to this movie before I seen the movie. Of course, I did because everybody knows me. I'm a big hip hop fan, and Tales from the Hood soundtrack came out I think around the exact same time as the film did. But man, Tales from the Hood anthology film fucking blew my socks off. I watched that shit hundreds of times in high school. It was my favorite thing. From the time that, the years I went to high school. So
Hell yeah.
such a great soundtrack, great film.
I think they incorporated the Spice One Born to Die song in there, like, perfect.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So 1995, yeah, and then 96 came along, and obviously the biggest film that came out in 1996 for the horror genre, I would say, was Scream.
Yep.
And it definitely meant a lot because that kind of, man, the buzz around that film was insane. And I got to see it in the theater, and I was really impressed. I was 16 years old, so very impressionable too. I'm just like, this is like the kind of vamping of slashers, and I don't know. It was just a fun fucking
Scream
movie.
is such an important film in horror history.
Yeah, because it really did. It kind of resurrected the horror genre for all types of subgenres of horror, in my opinion. After 96, everything there was a lot more films coming out. I mean, we went through the list of films in the 90s one time, JP, and we were laughing. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
Like from year to year, there's so little films compared to if you compare the 90s to the 80s and even the 70s and stuff, it's just such a downslide. But you do notice that, towards the end of the 90s, there's a little more. But also another film that came out in 1996 is, half horror, half action drama, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah.
So I also saw that in the theater, which of course meant a lot to me. I loved a lot of movies I saw in the theater growing up always meant a lot to me. It was that experience, right? But that movie fucking blew my socks off because I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, right? It just, you go from kind of an action heist film to, full on vampire fucking craziness. And the cast was awesome. I love the cast, and it just meant a lot. I watched that movie hundreds of times, I swear. And last up, this is kind of a surprise, but this one came out the year I graduated. I saw this one in the theater also, and I just loved it. This is why this movie makes my top 10 of John Carpenter films of all time, is Vampires. I know it's not a great film by any means, but I personally love it.
What year did Ghost of Mars come out?
I think 97? No.
Ghost of Mars was awesome.
No, Ghost of Mars came out.
I do like Ghost of Mars, though. I know I actually hate it.
I actually don't remember that movie. I can't remember. No, I think it was 2001. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But anyways, Vampires came out in 1998, and it was kind of a stick-out film for me then because, once again, I saw it in the theater. But I've always been a big fan of James Woods, and he's just kind of, overacting in the film at times, and the effects are kind of cheesy, and it's not John Carpenter's best work, but it's so much fun. It's very enjoyable for a vampire film. So those are the 5 that meant the most. Like I said, 3 of them being I saw in the theater, Tales from the Hood being, it's up there in my favorite anthologies of all time, and can't go wrong with
I
Prince.
just realized that I got confused counting 4 years. Did you? That's fucked up.
That's hilarious.
It's okay, JP. We forgive you.
Wow.
All right, so we're not going to do. Mood swings is going to be a thing that I'm probably going to swing back and forth from random weeks, or whatever. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just gonna ask a question for for listener participation. You guys can comment in the videos and stuff. But this is also for us next week to answer too, so we can do the same type of thing. It's just what I'm going to do is these simple top 5 kind of lists, very easy to answer and stuff. So this week's question is going to be your top 5 horror films from 1978. The reason why I picked 1978 is because it is the year my favorite horror film of all time came out, and I find that year has a lot of really cool films that came out. You'd be surprised the amount of awesomeness that came out in 1978.
Everybody's going to have the same number 1 probably.
Well, Halloween and Dawn of the Dead both came out. So
interchangeable.
But that's the thing, right? But there is a lot of other really good films.
Yeah, there's a lot of other good movies.
Yeah, more interested in like 5 through 2.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, it's a simple question.
Good question.
Very easy. And yeah, 1978. So if you guys want to answer that, and we will have our list next week. So.
All right, cool. So that is our news and mood swings corner segment, and we'll be jumping in now to it's going to be a pretty interesting segment this week.
I have a feeling
the films we watch, because I watched some shit on the shit sticks this week, and when I watch some shitty films, I let them have it. So who wants to go first?
Well, you know what, Jeremy? Why don't you start? Because I have a feeling this week is going to be fucking hilarious, man.
The first film that I'm going to give a beating to is going to be Cube², which I watched a few days ago. So I know JP thinks the film is okay, and I know he thinks it's at least.
Say that.
You did too. You said it's okay.
I said it's not that bad. It's not.
Okay.
It's not the worst film I've ever seen. Bad.
It's not the worst film I've ever seen, but it's pretty fucking terrible.
You said it's one of the worst.
Yeah, it's in my top 10 worst films I've ever seen because for one thing, the fucking
Was you?
acting is fucking horrendous in this movie.
Let me ask
It's
you something. Was
all right.
you expecting to like it? Like, did you not
No,
know the quality of it?
but I
No,
did not
I was. It was
think.
an actual question. Like, because you come off the first Cube. If you don't know too much about Cube 2, you'd be like, all right, Cube 2, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Because
Until you pop it in and you're like, what the fuck is this CGI animated kill bullshit that happens throughout the film that just
I
the storyline just blew my mind. Seriously. They're like in like this
you didn't think the
hyperactive
Hypercube was cool. Hypercube? No,
computer cube and
it's
they are
time
like
travel.
alternate dimensions and it's like I'm watching I'm going, what the fuck am I watching? Seriously. They're like transporting from dimensions and it's just there's this one lady in there with fucking Alzheimer's and it's just so fucking annoying. It's like I just wanted to fucking jump through the screen and punch her in the face as I'm watching this movie because this old lady is so annoying. And it's like, what's up with the lesbian side themes between this this blonde and this blind Asian chick? I mean, there's totally an Asian, fucking lesbian type thing going on between these two chicks, and I just found it freaking hilarious. I just love in the Q movies. They have to have a person with some kind of disability in fucking
What actually
the
made
first
sense
two
in the
movies.
first Cube?
Yeah, in the first Cube, at least it's an interesting concept because it hasn't been done before.
Yeah, so just why not roll with it for the sequels, right? Even
Yeah,
even if it doesn't make sense, just have someone disabled, and that'll make the movie.
Yeah. And then after it got to the scene with the guy getting killed by the Hypercube with the CGI, it was just fucking horrendous. And
Oh,
at that
dude.
point, I knew that I was watching a shit on the shitter stick film at
The
that point.
CG in that movie is fucking horrendous. It really is bad.
It's and it's like when they die, they get like it's like why the fuck don't they get up? All they're doing is sitting there and screaming. It's like why the fuck don't you get up and actually do something? Like how the fucking annoying lady dies with the wall like freezing her. It's like what that doesn't make any sense. Why the fuck don't you get up and actually do something instead of just sitting there screaming her head off? But yeah, the Cube
Let me
2.
let me
Go
tell
ahead.
you about my Cube 2 experience. So Cube 1 came out in like 95 or 96 or somewhere around there, right? 99, somewhere. When it came out, I rented it, dude, and I fucking loved it. It was
Yeah.
such a blind rent thing. Everybody was like, "This shit looks stupid," and my aunt was the one that actually rented it, and I loved it. So I always was a huge fan of it. I watched it when it aired on TV. And then 2002, little me in 2002, I was watching the Sci-Fi Channel like I did regularly on the weekends, and I see a promo for Cube 2, and I'm like, "What? I didn't even know this shit was out." And they're like, premiering, this Saturday or something. I was so excited, dude. I
Well,
was
that's because when Cube 2 came out, the producers they didn't tell anybody. They didn't want anybody to know that it came out because
They didn't want anybody to know the
well, no,
shittiness.
because it's actually a directed sci-fi. It's a sci-fi original. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it is.
So I was like so excited, dude. They ran the promo over and over again. I was like, I went and got my VHS, my VCR, and I was gonna record it off the TV. The like hour before it came on, it ate my only recordable tape. I hurried up and called my friend. I was like, "You gotta record me Cube 2," and like, cause I couldn't watch it, I had to go somewhere or something. So he recorded me Cube 2, and I get home the next day, and I'm like, dude, like, I bring Cube 2 up, man. He's like, it wasn't very good, and I'm like, yeah, right, man. You just fucking don't know about movies. And I watched it, dude. I was like, and I was almost to the point where I didn't want to take back my words, and I was like, it was all right. But I haven't seen it.
It was
I
an
haven't seen
alright
it
piece
since.
of shit.
I haven't seen it since.
Uh,
It was terrible from what I remember, but
Fucking
I
horrendous.
didn't think it. I don't think it's like the worst movie I ever seen. That would go to Beneath the Mississippi.
But yeah, so I gave Cube 2 a 2.5 out of 10 on the shittiness scales of shit.
Wow,
All right, my
Yeah.
turn.
that's pretty generous.
Yeah, pretty
I feel
good.
like it should be Mood's turn since I just told my Cube story. Go ahead, Moods.
Okay, what do I want to talk about first here? I'll describe this one. Yeah, so I watched this movie the other night. released by Image, came out in 2010. It's a film from the UK, and it goes by the name of Cherry Tree Lane.
Oh, I have that movie too.
Oh man, this is a home invasion type film, basically about these fucking hoods that break into this house to.
I love
Um,
Hood's British Hood horror. Hood's horror.
yeah,
Those things. I
yeah,
like those guys. Like Eden Lake, like those kind of guys, like kids.
yeah. This movie does not fit in that
Oh,
same
okay.
sentence as Ethan Lake. Um, so anyways, these hoods break into this house and they're looking for the son of this couple or whatever. They're having like a nice little dinner and shit. So anyways, the son is not home. So what they do is they basically tie up the father. They beat the shit out of him. The wife
Eden
ends
Lake.
up. Yeah, it's very much like that. But so and basically they're just staked out in the house waiting for their son to come home because he did something to these hoods and they're going to teach him a lesson, possibly kill him, whatever. And that's basically the entire film. It's just these hoods in this house fucking beating the shit out of this father, doing nasty shits to the mom and just waiting. This movie is filled with horrendous dialogue, insanely unlikable characters. You're not supposed to like these characters, obviously, but they are so fucking stupid and ignorant and just fucking dumb. And to top it off, one of the characters, not the main guy, he's just such a fucking dick douche fucking asshole, but his friend is this hood with a fucking heart. He's kind of like saying nice things and trying to do nice things, and he's like feeding the dad. Oh, dude, it's just fucking. It was pissing me off the whole time. But really, like mixed with really bad dialogue, it's not really shot that well, and the ending is just fucking horrible. It's just so stupid and just dumb. And like, there's one point in the film where basically the lead hood guy, he calls up his not his actual girlfriend, but a girl that he knows, to bring over like a weapon, like a fucking hatchet or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, why wouldn't you, if you're going to go to this house to do this, why wouldn't you be prepared with a weapon, first of all? Anyways, this girl shows up with her friend and her friend's younger brother. And this kid's like 10 years old and they're just like sitting there and it's so fucking pointless. The movie drags on and it only runs 77 minutes. It's terrible dialogue. It's actually one of the worst home invasion films I think I've ever seen. It's just completely pointless.
It's easy to fuck up the home invasion genre. It really is easy to fuck it up.
But there's just so much going. Like, there's no point to this movie at all. It's really fucking poorly made, and even one of the hoods that comes in the house, he's like this white kid, and there's really no reason for him to even be there. They kind of show him upstairs. He's kind of stealing things, and he's just kind of there. He's not really doing anything. It's just really fucking poorly
Jeremy, what
written.
the hell are you doing?
And even acted, it's really acted bad. And
Sorry, I'm OCD.
yeah. So Cherry Tree Lane, one of the worst fucking home invasion films I've ever seen. Of course, released by Image. They really know how to put out some good shit sometimes. But yeah, if I had to rate this one, I don't know, man. Maybe like a 2 out of 10.
A 2? Worse than
Where's that
Hypercube?
cube?
Dude,
There's
this movie,
no way.
Have
you seen Hypercube
livid.
2?
I was livid watching this movie. It was so bad. I hated every minute of it. Like,
Man, it sounds like me with Bloody Homecoming. God damn.
This movie, like, I couldn't get over how poorly written the dialogue was and stuff. There was nothing intriguing about anything about this movie. It's just a really bad entry into the home invasion, subgenre of horror films. So stay away from Cherry Tree Lane. It's straight up
hit
bullocks.
$1.50 for it.
It's fucking bad. It's terrible.
Wow.
I think I paid about the same, but man, seriously, whew, it was not good.
All right, JP.
All right. You know what? This week, guys, I kind of watched some like films that are like barely horror. Like it just kept happening for some reason. I don't know. So I watched a film called The Snowtown Murders. IFC Midnight put this out. It's from the year 2011, I believe.
Curious to see what you have to say about this, because me and Moodz have the same opinion about this film.
To me, this film was just... I'm like kind of conflicted on how I truly feel about it. I think that it had some alright elements, but at the end of the day, I think it really was affected by just me not giving a fuck about the characters. They just didn't set them up properly for you to, feel any of the terrible things that was happening to them. It deals with, pedophilia and rape. male on male rape. And it's based on a true story. I felt that it was a little Snowtown Murders. The film's called the Snowtown Murders. Um, I
Yeah,
felt
sorry, I totally missed you say that. Yeah, sorry, that was my bad.
yeah, I felt like it wasn't set up properly to really develop the characters in order for you to feel the. I mean, it was still fucked up, but it was really uncomfortable and just I don't know. And I know it's supposed to be like that, but it almost felt like
That
to
meeting all the
me
time just pissed me off.
the what
That meeting all the time just pissed me off.
eating
They ate
they
in
ate a lot.
every
Yeah,
fucking scene. They're
I think
eating.
the
It's like,
idea behind that is to set up the fact that this is a family.
yeah, I
You
know
know what I
there's an
mean?
imagery behind it, but it's like
But
this
no,
fucking
I
Yeah,
totally get you. That's what I'm saying. Wasn't done, and this film like got a lot of praise. Like it has a bunch of quotes on the cover and
yeah,
like
watch
I
the
awards
Hypercube
and
thing.
shit.
I honestly didn't understand it either because I kept hearing a lot of people talk about it on YouTube and a lot of reviews and stuff, and I finally checked it out, and I the same opinions, man. I was like, what is so? Yeah, there is some disturbing parts in this film. Obviously, we know what we're all thinking right now.
Yeah.
But what the fuck, man? It wasn't that well made at all. There was so many things about this movie that bugged me, and I thought it was really long too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It
it's like
doesn't it
2
run.
hours.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was. I think it was like 2 hours or some
Yeah.
shit.
that was another thing that bugged me. I thought a lot of shit in the film would dragged on and was just kind of pointless. And after reading about the real story and stuff, I think the movie was really poorly done.
Okay, but that I was actually going to bring that up. I found it a bit confusing also. I don't know if it was so long to where I just kind of fell in and out of interestedness and I was like, not paying attention. But um, after I started reading about the real life story, things started making a little bit more sense because they did kind of follow pretty closely of what actually happened. But I just think they kind of did it poorly, like
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
exactly
said.
what I thought. Yeah, it's just done poorly. Yeah,
Yeah. So what do
I
you
don't know.
anything?
I don't really know about it. It's like, but at the same time, like I think it was kind of shot well.
Bizarre,
Um,
yeah. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of this movie, so
yeah. Um, did you feel like there was no like I don't know, like it just felt like there was no like fight back or like it seemed like everything just like happened. Like there was no resistance. Like you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like none of the characters felt like real people. Like they didn't feel like they were, you know, resisting any of the bad shit that was happening to them.
yeah, the rape just kind of like they didn't do anything. It's like why is this person just not doing anything?
Yeah.
I know. I could not understand
And
that either. I totally know where you're coming from.
if it was a case where they was just totally mentally beat down and just was tired of fighting, then they
But
didn't show that. They
I
didn't con-
I
convey
kind of get
that.
I kind of get that feeling that's what the brother was why he kind of
Yeah.
happened, why shit didn't really get any nothing really came of it is because of that reason. He was so mentally fucking drowned by what was happening and shit. So I don't know. I think it's also just the upbringing too. I think they're kind of getting at this family is real fucked up and shit isn't normal. So
I will say the one performance I thought was really kind of well done was the main like killer guy, like the stepfather. I thought he was actually pretty convincing in the film. The scene with the dog was really
Yeah.
well done. The,
Yeah, but we've
yeah,
seen that before.
that's brutal.
Yeah.
yeah, it actually kind of made me like pissed off and sad.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
was
loved that.
I was super fucking pissy, but I hated that part.
Yeah,
But
so I would give the Snowtown Murders a 6.5 out of 10.
Yep. All right.
interesting.
Okay. Next film I'm going to talk about is a pretty fun, interesting film. I think it came out in 2012 or 2011, and that is the film Mold, which Moodz recommended to me, which is a really fun, low-budget film that is about the U.S. government trying to create a strain of mold that will be able to attack their enemy in a silent way without anybody knowing what's going on. And
Is
of
it
course,
splintery mold?
what?
Like the movie Splinter?
I haven't seen Splinter, so I don't know.
It's not. I'm just saying splintery mold's pretty cool.
All right, but so of course the mold gets leaked in this testing facility, and shit starts to go down, And the film definitely has one of my favorite characters in recent memories in the general of this U.S. government. Moods, do you agree that the general is a fucking hilarious ass character?
Oh, dude, the general's so funny
It's
in that
just so
movie.
funny. It's fucking hilarious.
He was awesome. Yeah.
But I definitely thought that the film would have been more interesting if we would have saw an aspect of, the mold escaping this facility and actually, wreaking havoc on, you know, the world. But it wasn't like that. A sequel would be interesting to see if they would do that. But it's pretty much just this mold in this small, testing facility and the characters trying to survive. It's really
Now
low
was
budget.
okay. So it was more of a budgetary constraint on why they really couldn't, go out and about and shit, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it has
Well,
some pretty. What do you think, Moods? Go ahead.
I don't know. I think what they did with it, it having it leak out inside the test facilities and stuff, I think was actually kind of a cool idea. They didn't really need to. They didn't need to bring it outside because if you're creating something inside a lab and then it's one of those lab kind of gone wrong kind of deal things, I think it works.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: is there any sense of claustrophobia?
No,
Damn it!
It's not that type of movie.
What is if it's in a? Okay, well, the way you set it up, I kind of pictured it in this like
it depends how you look at it because it is all set in kind of small rooms and stuff. So I mean, it depends on how you watch it, I guess. Right?
I think that's an angle that's completely underused when you set something in a a single location. Is this fucking mold in a small location. I think that claustrophobia should be a part of it. But I haven't seen the movie. I don't know what kind
just
of
watch
movie
the
it is.
trailer and you'll understand. It's not your typical, movie. It's super 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 low budget. It has some cool effects, but it's definitely a fun film. I know I saw like 8 copies at Blockbuster when I was there a few days ago. So,
did you review this one? Moods?
No. Oh yeah, Moods reviewed it.
No, I actually never did.
I never remembered you talking about it before.
Because I shit you not, man. The week that the whole Fright Tube fucking fell apart there, that was my review for that week. So I technically never did review it. So, but yeah,
it's an unreleased review by Moods.
It's an unreleased, yeah, but.
Mold, really fun, interesting movie. I had a lot of fun with it. You don't have to take it serious for what it is. Just go into it wanting to have a good time, and you'll have a good time. So I gave it a 7 out of 10 on that one.
I actually like the concept, so
yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, it's a super fun movie, man. I really enjoyed it. It's worth it just to watch the general.
Yeah, the general is one of my favorite characters in a long time. He's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Moods. What's your second film that you watched this week?
All right, so I watched the first of actually 2 anthologies this week. This one came out in, I don't know when the fuck this came out, a couple years ago, I believe, 2012. So this is relatively newer. I know JP has seen this film.
Theater Bizarre.
Yeah, this is the Theater Bizarre. I'd never seen this film until this week.
It actually surprised me that you've never seen that film. It seemed like something that would have been on your radar when it came out.
Yeah, well, it was on my radar, and I just could never find it for the right price. I ended up paying just a couple dollars for this, so it wasn't that big a deal. But the Theater Bizarre is, an anthology film consisting of 6 shorts, running around 20 minutes apiece. It's basically about this girl the wraparound story, if you want to call it a wraparound story.
That wraparound story is like dumb.
It's not even really a wraparound story. It's just basically about a girl that goes into this theater and all of a sudden these shorts start being played to her. So that's basically all it is. But the first short in the anthology is called Mother of Toads.
I like this one.
And it takes place in France, and it's about this guy that's kind of looking for like a real copy of the Necronomicon. And he gets he gets told that to go to this, I guess, what do you want to call her? She's kind of like a witch or something like that.
She's a witch.
Yeah. Anyways, he ends up at this chick's place or this witch's place, and it turns out that the copy that she has is actually real, and some crazy shit goes down.
So it's kind of like, is it kind of like that John Carpenter film from Master of Horrors, the first episode from the first season with Loomis?
No, I don't think it's kind of like. No, I would say it's a little different. This one kind of turns bizarre.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I thought this one was pretty cool. It actually has some pretty cool effects and stuff. I really like the effects when his girlfriend after. I don't really. You can't really say too much about these shorts because I don't really want to give too much away.
Yeah, you
But
can't.
because they're so short, it's kind of reached the point. But I did like the effects with the toads and stuff that were on the girl. You know what I'm talking about, JP?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
car.
It's been a while since I've watched this one, but I remember liking that segment. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but like this guy ends up doing some shit with this witch, and it's a really cool segment. I actually really enjoyed it, so I do recommend that one. The next one is called "I Love You." This was basically set in an apartment. It's about this couple that are obviously breaking up. I think the woman is basically trying to, or she's already left this guy, and he's very controllable.
I found this one to be shot really well, from my memory. I don't know if that's,
Yeah, basically what it
or
is
it
is
kind of
this
had a
guy.
cool look to it, or there was a lot of white or something. I don't know. There
There
was
was, yeah.
something that I liked about it.
It's all shot in this apartment, and it's basically this guy who's super paranoid about his wife, and he thinks that she's possibly cheating on him and stuff, and it turns out that she actually is cheating on him. She totally tells him straight up, so he just fucking loses his mind and shit. And this one turns actually really bizarre too. It's pretty much all I'm gonna say, but it's them kind of fighting it out, and things are being revealed throughout their fights and stuff about the relationship. But I think that one is starring, Udo Kier is the guy in this film, in the shorts. So it was okay. It turned out to be decent for a short, but kind of uninteresting a little bit, in my opinion.
I remember liking that one.
Yeah, it was okay. Like, I wouldn't say I disliked
Yeah.
it, but it was all right. Next one is called Wet Dreams.
Now,
Um,
honestly, this is the one that I found to be the most disappointing. Tom
yeah,
Savini directed.
yeah, this one's directed by Tom Savini, and it's basically another kind of couple story about this guy that's having these crazy visions of having his penis cut off and stuff like that. And Tom Savini plays a shrink. So this guy, he's going to see Tom Savini, and Tom Savini's kind of giving him advice or treating him in like a Freudian way kind of deal. And his nightmares kind of turn to like almost realities and stuff. And this one was kind of disappointing. It had lots of potential, but by the end of it, you're kind of going,
Do you
well,
remember the vagina like monster thing, or what was it, crab or something? I remember.
yeah, right at the beginning. Yeah, so
It's like,
basically how
what the fuck was that?
basically how it starts out is you see this girl, she's kind of stripping, and it's panning down on her. You see her nice naked boobs, and then it pans right to her pussy,
Her nice
Those
naked
naked boobs.
and
boobs.
it pans down to her pussy, and it's got like this crab kind of coming out of her vagina, and he kind of moves forward towards her, and all of a sudden, fucking his penis gets chopped off, and then he kind of wakes up.
Yeah, that's his nightmare.
Yeah, that's his nightmare. So then he ends up in the shrink off
I
stage,
get
played
5
by
minutes behind the bush.
Tom Savini. So I don't know. It was disappointing, but it wasn't the worst thing. Next up is The Accident, and this one I found to
This
be
one felt really it felt like out of place.
this one really didn't even belong in this anthology at all. It's basically about this girl.
I still think it was cool, like really like cool though. Like I like the idea of it. Like
Yeah,
this girl just sees this horrific event happen.
yeah, and
This little girl.
that's basically all it is. It's like this little
Yeah,
girl sees this horrific accident
that
that
is all
happens
it
and
is.
stuff.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's just, that's like actually what it is.
yeah, and it's her mom is, and then it kind of keeps flashing to the present, right? And she's in bed, and her mom's telling her, explaining death to her and stuff like that, and she's asking her mom these questions. But yeah, this little girl sees this guy in this motorbike get killed.
I mean, this is something that you would like to see, like just a random short film uploaded on YouTube. Like it
Yeah,
didn't belong in this film,
no, exactly.
but it was cool.
It was okay. I found it to be kind of whatever. It just didn't
Really,
fit the whole premise of this. But the next one is called Vision Stains, which I found to be
it's my
the
favorite
best.
one in this
Yeah,
story.
this is
Yeah,
by far the best short in the Theater Bazaar. I thought the
I
fucking
love it. I remember telling you
idea
about
was
this one.
so cool, man. So cool. It's about this girl that figures out a way to get people's memories through their eyes. So basically, what it is that
Wait. Hold up a second. Wasn't this done in Chilling Senses?
Well, I haven't even got into it yet.
Yeah, but it
Let's talk.
sounds like the same thing.
No, it's like a
No,
drug, dude.
no, this is
It's
no.
basically like
I
this
said two
drug
seconds. I got 2 seconds into it, and you cut me off. Okay, so basically, it's about this girl that figures out how to extract people's memories out of their eyes when
with
they're
a syringe.
with a syringe, and basically how what happens is, how the tale goes is that people, when they're on the verge of dying, their whole life flashes before their eyes, right? So she basically kind of attacks people and their whole life flashes in front of their eyes. She injects them with this needle and pulls their fucking memories out of her eye and then injects them into herself. And then she has like their visions and stuff.
But she gets
Um,
addicted to them.
but she gets addicted like a fucking junkie.
Yeah.
And
So it's a very neat look at a junkie, but
Yeah.
with a different concept
There you
than
go,
just
drug addict
heroin.
once again.
But
This one's really cool, man. It has some
I'm not
one of
saying
the-
that, but that
some of the
sounds
best-
just like the short from Chilling Senses.
well,
it has
it's
some of the
interesting.
best I honestly some of the best eye horror ever made.
Yeah,
like-
dude, and like honestly, anything that's going into an eye in a horror film, I always cringe. And this was just watching a needle go in.
Did you happen to watch the special effects how they did it?
No, I didn't watch any of the features.
Oh,
So
it's really cool. It's basically a big like full sized like like not full but like beach ball sized eye that they're using, and it's a close up of it.
oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
But yeah,
it might be a
thought
little
it's-
smaller, but
I thought Vision Stains was by far the stick out one on this.
oh yeah,
on
it
that
was.
too.
I love the concept. It's such a cool concept.
Yeah, very cool. And then the last one was called Sweets, and it's about this couple that is just like, drowning
I-
themselves eating fucking sweets and shit, and then it
I
doesn't
like the wait. I'm thinking I can't. I might be
I
thinking of a different movie, but
I honestly didn't really care for this at all. It was.
oh man, it was just fucking. I didn't like it. I didn't
I
like
don't.
it.
I don't even really know how to explain it. It's just really about these couple that
Was
are
there a
just
twist ending to that one?
Yeah, I guess a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, man. Even how to explain it. It's just this couple eating fucking sweets, and then some shit happens to them. Like I can't really give it away if you want to watch this, but
Well, there's actually a word for it. It's a sexual.
yeah,
A fetish.
It is.
Yeah, it's a fetish.
It's definitely a sexual fetish. That's exactly what it kind of is and
Like
stuff.
gorging yourself fetish thing.
Well,
It's
gorging.
fucking disgusting.
It is.
It's-
It is disgusting when they're eating these fucking nasty plates. Of
and they
sweets
were really good.
chocolate
They were like
sauce.
dropping shit on it. That they really did. I remember in the special features, they were like spitting in it and putting it back in their mouth and shit. Like the actors did it for real.
Yeah,
like how
it
you
was,
see.
it was
It's fucking
gross.
nasty,
I
man.
didn't care for it.
Yeah.
But overall, the Theater Bazaar was okay. I think I'd probably give it maybe like a 6 out of 10. I thought the accent.
I think I'd go 6.5.
I think the accent was
Seven.
decent for what it is, but it doesn't fit in this anthology, in my opinion. I think it's too. I think all the other ones kind of relate.
But the
to
thing
each other.
is, it's the shortest one, isn't it? Like 7 minutes or something.
It is really.
So
short.
it's not really. It's like a kind of a
Bonus.
time killer thing. I don't know. I like
But
it.
but at the same time, I think these shorts are supposed to be so different because it's just a this girl's being shown all these type of bizarre shorts, so they don't have to relate to each other. So I guess it does kind of make sense. But yeah, I'd probably give it like a 6.5. I think that's a good rating.
Just to show you guys how many films that I didn't see last year, relating back to last week's episode, Theater Bazaar was like number 5 on my top 5 of 2012.
Wow, crazy. Yeah, it was okay. I really the eye one was the best though. It was cool.
Oh, it was so good.
Yep.
My
Okay,
turn.
JP.
Okay, next up, I watched a film called Decoys 2, The Second Seduction. This one is, it's pretty much what you'd expect. The first Decoys was kind of like a Species type ripoff. This is an actual sequel to it. It does follow the events of the first film. The funny thing about this one to me is there's a character in there that kept reminding me of Jeremy the way he looked.
Thanks.
The whole time he looked like Jeremy to me. Moodz, I know you recently picked up the Species, the Decoys film, so look for
Yep.
that when you finally watch Decoys 2.
Okay.
I actually like this one better than the first one. I thought it was, it still had that like weird like teen sex comedy horror film type thing. It was fucking weird. I don't know. They're weird movies, but Um, aliens trying to mate with humans and they like freeze their body and fucking tentacles and fucking college kids trying to get laid and fucking CGI.
Nice.
There's not really much to say about it. It's to me it was like a 5.5, maybe a 6 out of 10. Um, It had some boobs.
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 I get 5 minutes behind the bushes.
What?
It's a
Okay,
South Park
that's my
reference. It's a South Park
oh
reference.
yeah, the fifth graders
Yeah.
or the sixth graders, whatever they were. Yeah, that's Decoys too. It was better than the first one in my opinion.
Cool.
All right. So, should I give another film another shithole, or should I? All right, I'll save that one for last. I'll save Bloody Homecoming for the last rant. But I guess I could talk about an anthology film I watched this week that I've mentioned a little bit ago, and that is Chilling Senses, put out by Scream Factory. I know Moodz talked about this one a little bit while ago, but guess we could talk
Try not
about
to
it.
spoil this one too much because I'm actually really interested in checking
All
this
right,
one out.
I'll just tell you the those 5 stories and what they're about. So first story is Smell, pretty much about this saleswoman who comes to this guy's house and drops off this perfume, and this perfume has powers that gives whenever he puts it on, people are irresistible to him. They can't leave him alone. But of course, it has negative side effects and has some pretty interesting effects in this one. Pretty gross. Really liked this one. I thought it was a pretty interesting take on Smell. Really good. I like that one a lot. And then the next one was Sight, which I think is kind of a thing about Theater Bizarre. Pretty much it's about this eye doctor who has this eye machine that extracts memories out of his patient's eyes and puts it into this liquid, and he puts the liquid into his eyes, and then he sees the visions of his patients through his eyes. So that's why it kind of reminded me of that segment from Theater Bizarre
Yeah.
that we were just talking about. Um, it's a pretty interesting segment, I would say. He puts
Well, I
he
think that eye thing has been done a few times. Like, isn't there a segment in Body Bags, where the baseball player gets somebody's eye and shit, and yeah. So that I mean that's been done,
yeah.
time and time again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought it was a pretty interesting segment. And then we'll get to the third, which is my favorite segment, and that's Sight. It's a really basic segment about uh, this kid who is blind and his 2 parents who get into a car accident, and his parents can't do anything to find help. So this blind kid goes and tries to find help. It's really interesting to see how this blind kid could actually, fuck around with people who actually see and get out of this tight situation with this dude who was seen from the second film. It's pretty interesting how all these movies combine with each other some way or another. Every short relates to each other in some way or another. So this blind kid's trying to find help, and it's pretty simple. It was actually a really good short. It's actually my favorite in the set. I don't know Mood's opinion on that one, but um,
It was good. Yeah, it was.
yeah, really, really,
I thought the kid did a really good job in that actually.
yeah, it was really good. And then we get to the worst one of the bunch, and that is Taste. This computer hacker goes to like this futuristic society, I guess you could suppose, and this woman who runs this whole thing wants him to do this job for him, and he denies the job, and some weird shit happens, and it's over. It's pretty stupid. I didn't like it very much. I thought they could have done a better thing with Taste than that, but um, it was okay. It's definitely my least favorite of the bunch for sure.
I thought it was actually pretty. I mean, it's just you don't really know where it's going,
Yeah,
in my opinion, and then it just kind of
it has
happens.
cool. It has some cool effects. I have
It
to give it
does.
that. I
It
have to
does.
give it that.
I think it's just the way it was executed was just a little kind of okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It was just like I know what you're saying though.
All right, and then we get to the last one, which is the hearing one, the listening segment, which is pretty much about these two, I guess you could say, media type majors received this videotape, and it has this black and white video of the scientists trying to find a person who could play this composition that makes people who are insane, get fucked up a little bit. I guess you could say that they get pretty fucked up. So it's just pretty much about these two guys trying to find out what this composition is and what does it do. And they keep on getting all these tapes in the mail that furthers the story a little bit. So they finally find someone who can play this composition, and since it all gets played out and they could hear it, they start to lose their mind as well as the people who are on this tape. So it's a pretty interesting short. It's not my favorite, but it's an interesting idea starter.
I actually really liked the last segment. I thought it was so cool, man. I thought it was like intriguing how they did it.
Yeah,
I thought it was very intriguing how they with the composition and what I thought that was really cool, man.
Yeah,
really nice way to end it though.
But yeah, I was really surprised with this one. I actually really liked it a lot. For a chiller flick, it was done really well. And
like I said though, like when I picked, being Scream Factory, obviously I was going to pick it up. But yeah, I had actually heard a couple people talk about it, and they said they didn't really like it that much. And I was like, okay, well, made for TV, it's kind of what I was expecting it to be, mediocre, kind of average, whatever. But I was really surprised with it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done, and I liked how all the segments kind of intertwined and kind of made sense, and everything just kind of worked out. It was good.
Did we talk about this on the podcast before?
Yeah, the first week.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah. But yeah, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I really liked it. I thought it was interesting. Yeah. Anthology for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right, Moodz.
All right, well, speaking of Scream Factory, my next title is released by Scream Factory. I think it was one of the newest ones released. From 1989, it is called The Horror Show, also known in the UK as House 3. Makes no fucking sense ever why it would be retitled as House 3.
I think it has to be now that there's a House 4, though. I think,
Right.
after they made a House 4, I don't think you can not call it House 3 anymore.
The thing is, this movie has nothing to do with that franchise. I have no idea what the fuck is up with that. But anyways, this one is starring Lance Hendrickson. He plays a detective, and basically what it is, it's the storyline is very reminiscent of Shocker, and ironically enough, they came out in the same year. I don't know which one came out first or which one, whatever, but it's very much.
The real
like
question is, you don't know which one ripped off which one.
Exactly, and it's very interesting that they're so similar. But anyways, Lance Hendrickson is a detective, and he takes down this mad killer by the name of Max Jenke. Apparently, he's killed like 116 people. He's like the most murderous person in America's history. Anyways, so he catches him, of course, and he gets the electric chair. But this, Max Jenke guy is, he's kind of different and kind of badass and shit. So it doesn't really kill him at first, but then eventually does. They give him, they keep zapping him, and they fry him. So, of course, the badass that Max Jenke is, he comes back in a supernatural state, in like basically a ball of energy. He can travel through, uses like energy and high voltage areas and stuff to, transport himself. And so Max Jenke's on a mission to take down Lance Hendrickson's character, of course, because he, brought him to justice and stuff. So it's very, very reminiscent of Shocker. Almost the same idea. He's, the electrical charges and electricity and shit. The cool thing about this one, though, is that Lance Hendrickson keeps having these crazy visions and seeing the killer everywhere. Like, he'll be just sitting at the table and stuff, and he'll look over, and all of a sudden he'll see him like there, and then all of a sudden he's kind of like, the effects are actually pretty well done in this too. But the problem with the movie is that it's kind of slow, and I don't know, man. It's actually really slow. There's not a lot of action besides like the beginning part of the movie, and it's just too slow for my liking. I think Shocker's a way funner film. I think Lance Hendrickson does a good job, but of course, during the film they fucking have, the killer ends up killing Lance Hendrickson's daughter's boyfriend inside the house, and Lance Hendrickson's character, the cop, becomes the prime suspect, of course, because no one's going to believe him that the supernatural ball of energy was killing off people in his house, right? Mm-hmm. So, of course, he becomes the prime suspect, and the police and the internal affairs are investigating him because he's a police officer and stuff. And that whole angle is very, very played out, I thought, and just kind of overused and boring.
That angle is so
it's
played out.
But the thing is, it was just executed so cliched, and of course, you know what's going to happen. I mean, it's not even a spoiler. You already know what the end of the movie is. I'm not going to say it just in case you're like dumb and can't figure it out or something.
Oh, way to insult me. I didn't know how it was going to play out.
Yeah, you didn't know there was 4 years in high school. Come on.
Like I said, this movie's
I'm just
very
fucking with you, JP.
This movie's very cliched, and it's not that great. I got to say, this is probably one of my least favorite Scream Factory releases to date. I was not a big fan.
Damn.
Yeah, this is. Yeah.
I was kind of looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
Is it me? When was that one? Was that just released recently?
Yeah, this one came out in December. Or no,
Why
this
does
one
it feel
came
like
out,
that one was announced like a billion years ago?
Because I think it was actually. And it finally ended up coming out, but yeah, I don't know, man. It just didn't really do it for me. It was really slow, and I wish the action, the killings were a lot better and stuff. And I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me. But kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I would still give it a pass, maybe like a solid just 5 out of 10. But the thing is, like I said, it's just too cliched. It's just not a great film. It doesn't have the heart and the fun, the funness, that Shocker has. Shocker's just a fun film. Even if I don't know, I know a lot of people don't like that one, but this one,
Shocker's not like, obviously it's not like a super well constructed film.
No,
but it's still fun. It
definitely is.
And the lightheartedness of it, like the heart, like it does have a lot of heart to it more than some films. It's cool. I like Shocker. Yeah. I guess it's my turn. I watched the 1989 version starring Robert Englund of The Phantom of the Opera. So I've never seen any version. I know there's countless versions of this film. So this was kind of my first experience with it. I'm not really, I've always kind of avoided this, like, the versions, because the whole opera thing is like very like out of my zone. Like it just seems annoying to me. I don't know. It was kind of, I liked it. It was, I found it kind of depressing though. Like, I don't know if it was just the era that it was set in, the Victorian era. It was kind of like a slasher. I know that that's probably not how the real story, the other versions are, but this version was kind of like a slasher almost. Had some cool gore. I like the gore. Robert Englund was really, really cool. He kind of has like a sad face to him with the makeup and shit. It's kind of supposed to be, we're supposed to, like, I don't know, feel bad for the character, I guess, because he's disfigured. He made a deal with the devil, classic deal with the devil thing. He wants his music to be, remembered forever, and in trade, nobody wants to remember, his face. Nobody wants to remember him. He won't be remembered for his face, basically. Yeah, he's really good. There's this girl who wants to be in some big opera, and she auditions, and so on. Like I said, it just kind of had a depressing vibe to it. I don't know if I think it's supposed to be like that. I don't know, but I was like, after the end of it, I was like, oh man, I kind of feel shitty right now, because I was like sick that day, and I was like, it was kind of like a double downer. Have you seen this?
I've actually never seen that version.
I've never seen it either.
I was wondering why nobody's saying anything. Wow, that's so weird that you didn't say. Have you seen any version of Phantom of the Opera?
I've seen the original Universal Edition version.
Yeah, I've seen a couple different versions also. Seen the original one. Yeah,
this one kind of has a weird setup. Like, the bookends of the film, like, it's like almost like a time travel type thing, dream type thing. Like, it was all a dream type thing, like, but not in a different way. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's like, I don't see why it was set up like that. I don't know, because the idea was to get this character into the Victorian era, because it starts out in New York present day, 1989 present day, and it gets her back to that era. But it's like, why didn't they just start there? It doesn't really make sense. I still recommend it though. It was pretty, well done for the type of film it is. I'm sure there's better versions out there, but for the first version that I've seen, I actually really liked it, and I'll probably seek out other versions. But it is kind of I'll probably watch them when I'm not feeling shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't recommend the Dario Argento Phantom of the Opera. It's probably, well, until he made Dracula 3D, it was his worst movie to date. But I think Dracula 3D might even be worse from what I've been hearing. But
like we were talking about yesterday, the best thing about that movie is the cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But the Victorian era does look cool. Like I like the era, just not that day. I give the film a 7.5, 7.5.
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty solid. All right.
It's a good watch. I recommend it. If you're a Robert Englund fan, you got to check it out. It's like right at the height of his Freddy-ness, and it's something different. It's definitely a different role. It's not like Freddy. It's more serious.
Cool.
All right. So we're going to do 2 more each, and then our pick of the week.
I got 1 more, and then pick a week.
All right. So guess I can save the worst for last. So I'm going to be talking about a movie that I just finally watched, and it's the 3rd film in the series, and it is Rec 3, which I finally got to watch.
All right, try not to spoil anything from the first 2 Recs, because those are something that I really, really, really want to see.
And you haven't seen the Recs?
No, I haven't.
Well, they kind of have nothing to do with each other besides the
All right,
names,
then.
So.
No spoiling is going to happen.
No, that isn't a spoiler between the first 2 and the 3rd.
What are you talking about? I said, okay, then. No spoiling is going to happen.
Well, I thought you thought that was a spoiler.
Jesus.
No.
Okay. So the first 2 films and the 3rd film has nothing to do besides the outbreak, which is not, which is a common thing about the series of the film. So film is basically about this couple that's getting married, and one of the uncles got infected by this virus, which was important in the first 2 films, and all hell breaks loose, and everyone turns into zombies, and it's basically about this bride and groom and some of the guests at this wedding trying to survive. It was interesting, it's pretty generic.
Is this found footage?
Indeed. Yeah, sort of. It's kind of like Chernobyl Diaries found footage type.
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah. Have you seen Rec 3, Moodz?
I have not watched it yet. I even own it too.
Yeah, it's kind of like Chernobyl Diaries found footage type stuff, but the first 2 are found footage, but I really like the first 2. If you guys haven't seen the first 2 Recs, you should check them out. They're really good.
They're really, really high on my list. Like I almost bought them a few times recently.
Yeah, they pulled the Halloween 1 and 2 type of thing with them taking place. Yeah, I really like the first. It's probably the best found footage films, next to Grave Encounters. But
what about Blair Witch?
Yeah, my opinion on Blair Witch. It was in my top 10 overrated films of all time list.
It was in my top 10 overrated films of all time, but it's still one of my favorite movies of all time too. Blair Witch 2, on the other hand, is in my top 10.
Moods, we were just talking about that yesterday. It's kind of funny.
Dude, I love Blair Witch 2. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, Blair Witch 2 is actually pretty fun. It's I don't know. It's just so different.
Yeah,
it is.
It's nothing like the first one.
It's fun.
Yeah, but Rec 3, it's definitely the worst out of the 3 so far. They're coming out with a 4th one, which follows the first and second storyline, but it's interesting. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. It's definitely not the worst thing, but they didn't live up to the hype as the first 2 films did. So
yeah, the first 2 films have a lot of like I don't think I've ever heard somebody like, oh, those Rec movies, nah, skip them, not really any good. I've never heard anybody say that.
Have you seen the first 2 Moods?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you haven't said anything, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I liked them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're really good films. I'd definitely take them over the fucking remakes.
Isn't it weird when you're the only person that's seen something? Because then you're like, you tell about it, and then you're just waiting for some kind of response, but nothing happens. I felt that way in Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah. But yeah, so Rec 3, pretty interesting, pretty good. I liked it a lot. So not really liked it a lot, but it was alright.
Yeah, I gotta check it out one of these days, man.
I'll probably grab all 3 of them
sitting there.
Yeah,
you can find those movies for dirt cheap.
All right, Moods, what's your 4th pick of the week?
All right, next up is a film called Jack the Reaper.
Pick of the week?
Not pick of the week. Fourth film we watched. Sorry, stupid
Yeah.
Jeremy's talking weird.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
dude,
this
I
one,
didn't know that there was 4 years in a high school year. So,
Yeah.
want to cut
Sorry.
off Moodz again?
hey man, I can stop. It's fine. All right, so the next
so,
movie,
no, I'm kidding.
the next movie that I watched is called Jack the Reaper. This came out in 2000. It says 2011 on here. I don't know, 2013. I don't know. It says 11 and 13. Maybe it's just released on.
It came out. That's all that matters.
It did. It came out. This movie has Tony Todd in the film for
4 seconds.
He's briefly in the film.
Does it say starring Tony Todd on it? It has to.
Actually, on the cover, it does not say anything about Tony Todd.
Well, you know, Pork Chop 2 says Sean C. Phillips is the main star, and he was in it for about 4 seconds. So.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Sean C. Who?
Sean C. Phillips, Cool Duder.
Who the fuck's that?
You don't know who Cool Duder is? Sorry, Moodz.
Oh my god, you guys. So bad. Anyways, Jack the Reaper. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about Tony Todd being in this film, but he's definitely in the trailer, that's for sure. Anyways, it's about this group of students that have basically Saturday school. They're a bunch of kids that didn't do this writing assignment, so they get Saturday school. But their Saturday school is consisting of a field trip to basically learn about like the Industrial Revolution. So of course they go on this trip.
JP, stop being an asshole.
What are you saying?
Why are you saying all right? You keep cutting off me.
That's awesome. That sounds like an awesome field trip, doesn't it?
So anyways, they go on this trip, and yeah, they go at this fucking dude. You fucked up my concentration so bad. Anyways, so they end up going to this place and learning about this Industrial Revolution. Tony Todd is, or on their way to this thing, they end up stopping at this. They end up stopping at this place. Anyways, Tony Todd's character, he starts telling these kids about this dude that was in the area of this, this guy named Jack the Reaper, the legend of Jack the Reaper and stuff like that. He was like this railroad worker that, if you looked him in the eyes and stuff like that, he would end up, killing you. That's kind of what the legend was. So anyways, Tony Todd's character, as creepy as usual, fucking tells these kids all this shit, and they hop back on the bus, and of course their bus fucking crashes in this desolate area, so they never actually reach their destination.
I would have thought they would have got a flat tire.
So anyways, they basically, when the bus crashes, it reminds me of Jeepers Creepers 2, the scene where, well, of course in the bus, and then they got to figure out what they got to do, but they did not get a flash tire. This bus actually flipped over. So anyways, they're in this desolate area. There's no one around. And of course, they look over, and what do they see? They see a deserted carnival. So they're going to go to this deserted carnival to seek help, right? Because, no one's coming along. And of course, this is where Jack the Reaper is basically where he is, So they go to this carnival, and of course, all the kids start getting killed off one by one, because if you see him, you will die. If you look at him, you will die. So,
isn't there like some like new like pop culture thing that's like that? Like if you look at it, you'll die or something. There's like some kind of like boogeyman story or something. I don't know.
The story of looking, or if the killer sees you, or if you see the killer and you die. I mean, this has been done before. But the problem with this movie is that, the setup is so fucking predictable. The characters are mostly unlikable. It's acted pretty bad. I thought the direction was shitty in it too. But Tony Todd was good. Like, telling the story is just creepy as shit. Best thing about the movie, the effects are all right. They are practical, which is kind of cool.
It's kind of funny that you say Tony Todd's creepy, because he was like the nicest dude ever when I met him. He was so nice.
Really? I heard he was a dick and tries to start your girlfriend.
Really? Well, he's nice to me.
No, it's a Holliston reference.
Oh, well, I haven't seen Holliston, so I wouldn't fucking know.
It's the way he's telling the story about Jack the Reaper in this. He's just in that real low tone kind of man voice and stuff.
Tony Todd's voice is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's good, but he's definitely the best part about this film. But it's just all cliched. It's got like a kind of like a twist ending to it and stuff. The carnival setting's cool. You don't see a lot of films set in a carnival. I wish there was actually more, but
there are quite a few.
There is quite a few, but I mean,
there are.
I mean, I guess
you wish you could see a few more good ones set in
Yeah.
carnivals. Is what
Oh,
you're
yeah.
saying?
What it is. But this one is set in like a fucking rundown dead carnival. So there's no people around. It's just them. So it doesn't really have that full
So why the
vibe. Like
fuck would they
nothing's
go
like,
there for help if there's nobody fucking there?
well, because they don't know that at first, right? They just notice that there's a carnival, and you think that
You
a
would think
carnival's
that there would
somewhere.
be somebody there, like at
Because
least
generally
like a
carnivals
security
are
guard.
they're well, carnivals fucking I mean, they're usually moving shows, right? So there should be
Yeah.
people there. So that was the whole thing. So they go there, and of course, it doesn't work out very well for the characters, and it's kind of mean spirited at times. There's this one girl that's she's actually deaf. Oh man, her death is so funny. I'm not gonna lie, man. I laugh so hard, but overall the movie it's just too cliched. It was very uninteresting. I hated most of the characters in it too, which is so annoying. Um,
I just
yeah,
picked this up.
it's a below average film, man. I probably give
Why
it
are
like
you guys watching all kind of
4.5,
shitty movies this week?
4.5 out of 10.
You're
Oh,
fucking
just wait
downing
till
me
my
out.
next movie, JP. We're gonna have a
You
good one
guys are
on that one.
downers, man.
Ugh.
It's not
Well,
my fault we watch shitty
why do you
movies.
keep
It just
why
comes
do you
up.
keep interrupting me every fucking 2 seconds?
Me?
Oh, you answer that one. No, JP.
Ha, yeah.
Anyways,
what I do.
Jack the Reaper, not good.
All right.
So I don't recommend
Watch
it.
it.
It's just I'm so sick of watching these overly cliched films with cameos from really good actors, and I hate that shit. It drives me nuts. But
Okay, JP. What's
It's
your last?
quite possible that I might be on a delay. Because to me, it doesn't seem like I'm actually interrupting. It just seems like I'm interjecting when nobody's talking.
No,
you're not.
you're cutting off moods a lot.
You're not on a delay, man.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you
Okay.
fine.
All right. What's your last movie, JP?
The Plague. It's from some 2006. It's a
Is it
Clive
Dark Sky
Barker
Films?
Productions.
Dark Sky Films?
No.
Oh, maybe that's Plague Town I'm thinking of.
Yeah, this Clive Barker produced this or something. I would say it's like Village of the Damned meets Children of the Corn meets a zombie film.
Didn't he write this movie? Isn't it
Now,
based on a short story?
I don't think he did because it doesn't seem like anything from him, based on what's happening. It might if it is, it's loosely wrote by him. No, it's not wrote by him. This one, it had a cool concept. One day, every kid under the age of, I want to say, 8 or something it's 8 or 7, or 9, just goes into a coma. Every kid above that age is normal, and then it flashes forward 10 years, and society pretty much is going extinct. Nobody could have kids. Anybody who has a kid, it instantly goes into a coma. So we're kind of feeling like the world's going to end, because how can we live on if everybody goes into comas when they're born? Interesting idea, and the last of the kids who were right above that age, that didn't go into comas, they're now, I believe, 19, or yeah, I think they're all 19 now, or something. And so all the kids basically snap out of the coma. They all have this some kind of bond with them, and it's basically kind of like a zombie film, but they're not zombies. They're mad kids who are not really kids. There's different ages, because it's 10 years later. Some of them that were 5 when it happened would be 15. Some that were 3 when it happened would be 13. And they're basically terrorizing a group of people. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic type thing. It's just not very well done. It's kind of like cliched zombie type of stuff, but not zombie films. It has the scene where the mother sees her daughter, and it's not really your daughter anymore. That's not her. And of course the mother's doesn't believe that, and lets her loose and gets killed. It's simply the same shit we've seen thousands of times. There are 1 or 2 creepy moments when the kids first start being coming back around and stuff, but I don't know, it was kind of cliched pretty much.
Man,
Give it
did we ever
a
watch a lot of shit this week?
5.5 out of 10. Thanks for
Yeah,
cutting me
man.
off, Dick.
Yeah, this is fucking. Yeah, it does sound very cliched, very typical fucking. When did you say that came out?
2006.
2006. It's funny. I think I've seen it around, but I didn't know any. I didn't know Clive Barker had anything to do with that.
I think he just produced it.
Yeah, figures.
His name's on it. That's it. All right. Me and Mood's final film. It's my time to rip a film a new asshole. That, of course, is Bloody Homecoming, which I talked about a little bit last week. But I figured I wanted to talk about it a little bit more into detail and why this movie sucks. Major, major, major asshole. But pretty much the film is about these group of teenagers who go to prom, and of course the older kids are assholes and wouldn't let them into the dance, so they decide to have their own party. So they go to this, this side classroom. Of course, one of the couples go in the closet to fuck around, and the guy tries and I guess you could say rape her, and she doesn't have nothing of it, and one of her friends comes and saves her, and they lock him in the closet, and a fire starts inside of this closet. And of course, the guy dies, and your typical slasher stupid shit starts to happen. Now, these characters are super, super, super fucking stupid and unlikable. Like, you couldn't even imagine how bad acting these people these characters are. Now, I know it's supposed to be like that, but it's just these characters are so fucking stupid. And it's just generic. Like, I'll talk about one kill. These two kids fucking in the back of a pickup truck at a football game. The killer comes, slashes one of the person's throat. The chick jumps off the sides of the pickup truck, and of course hurts her foot as she tries to run away. He stabs her in the eye and kills her. It's like, how many times have we fucking seen that same exact kill?
Did the stab actually look good in the eye?
No, it looked fucking stupid, generic crap. Now, there is one interesting kill in the film that I had to give credit to, that includes bleachers and getting crushed by bleachers, which is pretty interesting, and it's definitely one of the most interesting things about this fucking movie. But yeah, it's just a really bad, generic, bad acted, annoying fucking characters, piece of garbage that I absolutely fucking hated. I know this Mood said this is on a lot of people's top 10 lists, but I have no fucking idea how or why. Maybe I'll have to watch some of these videos to see their fucking explanations on this piece of garbage trash. And the kind of, the ending, those huge, surprise, so fucking predictable and stupid. And it makes no fucking sense at all. I just fucking hated it. It's worse than Cube². I gave it a 1.5 out of 10.
Holy shit, man! I seriously can't believe that this was on a lot of people's top 10 lists, or even honorable mentions, or I mean, it made some type of good list of 2013 releases. I mean, but this is why I'm so intrigued to watch this movie, because some of the people that I saw do their videos, and I won't mention their names, but their lists were pretty good. Yeah. And you're blasting the shit out of this film, so I have to see this movie now.
It makes me hated it so.
It makes me want to watch it so much, because I'm just so intrigued that someone can hate it so much and other people can love it so much. So it's right up my alley.
Fucking hated it. I thought it was garbage. So yeah.
I have this feeling that, like, I'm gonna watch it and it's not even gonna be that bad. I just have this feeling.
I don't know. It seems like something I would like. That's why I've been so intrigued too. I think that, I don't know, man. Slasher films, though, I kind of bias towards them sometimes. I kind of give them a pass sometimes. But I don't know. I got to see this, though. It just seems up mine and JP's alley for sure.
Yeah, it's garbage.
I can't wait. All right, so you gave that a 1.5 out of 10.
1.5. Absolute shit.
I think that's the lowest rating that we've ever given on this podcast.
Yes, it was.
That's a fucking low rating, dude.
It's
dude,
horrible.
Like 1.5 is so crazy.
Terrible.
Dude, a movie has to be like nearly unwatchable for me to rate it that low, I think.
Well, I almost turned it off after the first like half hour, but I don't turn off anything because I obviously didn't turn off Cube², so I obviously wasn't gonna turn off this. So
Well, you rated Cube 2 higher.
yes, because at least I don't know. It was just garbage. I hated
Well,
it.
I know that doesn't really correlate with
Yeah.
the rating things, but
I mean, I was so close this week to turning off Cherry Tree Lane, but I can't bring myself to turn off a movie. If I'm going to get more than half an hour into a film, I'm watching the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of weird like that. I'm very kind of
yeah, I'm really weird like that too.
yeah. So, but yeah, Cherry Tree Lane is probably I think the lowest rated film I've done on this podcast so far. So this has been a really interesting week.
All shit stains.
Fuck, I kept so. So, anyways, yeah, my fifth and final movie of this week is another anthology film released by Full Moon, and it's called The Haunted Dollhouse. Now, I had no idea going into this what this anthology film was all about. I just saw that it was all directed by Charles Band, which I was like, well, it can't be too bad. And then I popped it in, and I got about 2 or 3 minutes into the first segment, and I went, I have fucking seen this before. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I paused the movie for a minute, and I looked it up, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Basically, what this is, The Haunted Dollhouse, it's 3 shorts that are just cut down to make an anthology film. So the first short,
3 shorts that are cut down to make an anthology film.
I mean 3 full-length films
It's like
that are cut
it's
down.
like Puppet Master.
Yeah,
and...
you guys didn't know that's what that was?
No, I had no idea.
Gotta research a little bit.
Well, whatever. This was like fucking dirt cheap anyways.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, the first segment in the movie is called The Protectors, but it's just basically an edited version of Skullheads.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, shit, man, because I actually really enjoy Skullheads. I thought it was pretty cheesy. But the way it's cut down in the short, you're just like, and I've seen the movie, I was like, wow, what the fuck, right? And then the second one is called Worry Dolls, and that's from Dangerous Worry Dolls.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, and then the third one is Dangerous Toys, and that's from Dollman vs. Demonic Toys. I've never actually seen Dangerous Worry Dolls before, so the second one was kind of intriguing to me. But the first and the third skits, I've seen the full films, and I was very, very disappointed with this. Overall, I mean, I guess it would work fine if you've never seen any of the films, but you know, why would Full Moon, or why would Charles Band put out this film? Why would you edit down full-length films and just create
Is that
an
a serious
anthology?
question?
Like, it's a rhetorical question, JP.
I thought so.
I'm just like, why would you ever fucking do this? It makes no sense. I mean, obviously, it's just a money thing. You put out another release, you might generate some fucking. I mean, it's basically all profit for you because you didn't put anything into it except for the little kind of transitions in between the shorts, right? I don't know. You've seen this before, JP?
No, I knew about it though. That's why I didn't. I had no interest in it. I did see Dangerous Worry Dolls. That's the only other 3 I've seen. That's actually one of the better full moons that I've seen of recent. Full moons. I actually like Dangerous Worry Dolls quite a bit.
Well, that's interesting because I need to definitely seek out that one because I own Skullheads and Dollman vs. Demonic Toys, but Dangerous Worry Dolls, I got to check it out because I really enjoyed the short or the edited version of the film or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right?
That's such a silly fucking concept, dude. I can't
It
believe
is.
that happened.
I know, it's just so weird. And watching Dollman vs. Demonic Toys edited down to like a 30-minute short is weird. They cut out like it's so jumpy. It looks like it was edited by one of us. It's just like, holy shit, this movie's only 30 minutes now. It's so silly. But I don't know. Dollman vs. Demonic Toys is such a fun film, but it's too bad. But anybody that has seen these films, you know exactly what this is, so I don't really want to get into this. I was really disappointed with this release, so I don't recommend it. Just go out and get the full-length films. Fuck. Yeah.
All right. So, gonna move into our pick of the weeks. Bet your Moodz can guess what my pick of the week is gonna be. So my pick of the week is the Dark Sky release film of Manborg, which is an Astron 6 movie that we talked a little bit about last week. This movie is fucking bad shit, fucking crazy. It's so not takes itself seriously. It's just
Wasn't you supposed to watch something else or something?
Adam Chaplin. I'll get to
Yeah,
that
that's
sooner
right.
or later. But yeah, this movie is fucking batshit crazy. It's pretty much all green screen from start to finish, but it's green screen in a funny way that it doesn't, take itself seriously. That they know that they're using a whole bunch of green screen. It's pretty much about this guy who is in a battle with his brother in the beginning against these demonic creatures from hell, and his brother dies in an overdramatic scene, which is just fucking hilarious. It's so
Yeah.
funny. His blood squirting out of his mouth. This is fucking hilarious. So we find out that the person who killed his brother was called, what's his name? It's like a Dracula, demonic Dracula ripoff, and so he also gets killed, but a doctor saves him and turns him into the Manborg, and it's just really funny. This guy who is a half machine, half human, and he can barely walk. You know, his body has to turn before his head. It's just really fucking funny. So he wakes up and he escapes from this doctor's, laboratory, and he meets this Asian guy, and this Asian guy is completely dubbed in the shittiest way possible in this American voice, just like the bad dubbed Asian films. It's just fucking hilarious because they know that they're dubbing this guy on purpose to, make a joke about. If you guys seen Wayne's World 2 during the fighting scene, it's that kind of dubbed badness. It's just hilarious. So they both get captured by this, the Dracula guy again, and they meet these other two characters, this brother and their sister duo, which, these two characters are fucking hilarious too. They're just over the top, don't take themselves seriously whatsoever.
Which I want to intervene. The brother and sister are actual real brother and sister in real life, I think, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
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 So they get, so they get put into this arena type, ancient Greece type situation, battling all these demonic things, and Manborg's finally figuring out what he is and fucking shit up in massive laser explosions and close-up fight scenes. This is fucking hilarious. So as the film goes on, he's trying to kill this giant Dracula guy in all these funny, hilarious ways. It's just over the top, batshit crazy. It's 60 minutes, pretty much right on the dot. So if you guys have an hour to spare, it's definitely a film you should check out if you like really cheesy, over the top, doesn't take itself seriously, know what it's doing type film.
Like I said when I talked about this movie, was that I just wanted like another 10 minutes because it was so entertaining and fun. Usually I don't say I want more time in a film, but that one right there was just, oh man, it's just so much fun.
Yeah,
I agree.
I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It was a blast for sure.
Yeah. One thing I love about that film is the dialogue, man.
Yeah. It's like that this guy's interrogating him. It's like, what are you going to do? And he's like, yes. In like a fucking generic voice, one-word answers.
I can't remember the one guy's name, the guy's real name, but the guy that's playing the Australian character.
Yeah.
He's part of Astron 6, but he's doing that fucking accent is just so funny to me, man, because I know that he's Canadian, right? And it just makes me laugh the whole time. But the dialogue is so fucking funny in that movie. It just makes me laugh like constantly. Yeah. They're so entertaining.
It's really funny. You guys should definitely, if you guys like Father's Day and other Astron 6 type shorts, you should definitely check it out. It's fun.
Yeah, Manborg and Father's Day are two completely different films.
Oh yeah,
like just that's what I like about Astron 6. If you've checked out their shorts and stuff, like Troma put out this double disc, thing of all their shorts, and it runs about 5 hours, and they're so different. I know I've mentioned this before, but you have everything from like straight up horror to like sci-fi to like comedies to like they have just such a wide range of topics and shit that they do. So very cool. Definitely check that out.
Yeah, I loved it. It's fun. All right, Moodz, what's your pick of the week?
My pick of the week is actually a film that I did on week 1 of my 88 series on YouTube, and that is Scarecrows from 1988. Wow, this movie is fucking phenomenal. This is like one of the best Scarecrow films I've ever seen. I've seen this movie years ago, and I so happy to finally get a copy of this and revisit it because it's just an amazing film. It's basically about these ex-military, guys that pull off this crazy multi-million dollar heist, and they steal this cargo plane, and now they're on their way to Mexico, get the fuck out of the country. And so on their way to Mexico, one of the criminals goes a little AWOL, and he jumps out the cargo plane with all the cash. And little does he know, he lands into this field with all these like crazy scarecrows and shit. And the setting is just fantastic. And of course, there's like this abandoned kind of house deal, so he kind of goes into that shit. And of course, the rest of the criminals, they fucking, they fall escape. They land the plane and they go after the guy that went AWOL. Now they're looking for the cash and stuff. And of course, these scarecrows start picking them off one by one and shit. But I tell you, man, this whole movie's set in the dark. It has the fucking setting is just fantastic. The scarecrows look so phenomenal. They're actually really creepy and shit. And the effects are awesome.
Isn't it?
This DVD is out of print. And the effects are really cool. The one thing that someone mentioned in my comments that, all the characters in this film are so unlikable. And it is true because, like, you're not really supposed to like these characters, though, because, I mean, they're all criminals. They've done these bad acts and stuff, but they are pretty unlikable. And that's, I guess, kind of...
Unlikable is in, like, bad characters or just not likable characters?
They're just, like, the actual characters are just not likable. They're just kind of dicks and stuff, right? They're just...
Yeah, okay.
They're like,
so they're not Evil Dead unlikable?
No.
Remake?
No. They're just the characters themselves. They're just bad people, right? And they're just kind of playing off that, like in a lot of films, the bad characters, they're not meant to be liked, So that's kind of what it is. But these, it's just the atmosphere in this movie is so amazing, and the way the scarecrows come along, and the story kind of develops. You kind of learn things, and but you don't learn it fully, which is kind of cool too. It's not spoon fed you at all. This movie's it's more about the atmosphere and just what's going on and shit. It's fucking cool, man. I love the part in this film when the dude the AWOL guy, he finds this truck by this abandoned house, and he hops in the truck and he's trying to make his getaway in this old 50s style Chevy kind of deal. Anyways, he gets like halfway up the road or whatever, and all of a sudden the truck dies on him, and he's like, fuck, right? So he opens up the hood of the truck, and there's no fucking engine in the truck. And then you're like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, this movie sounds badass.
Yeah, and it's kind of before everything kind of goes down, you're like, what the hell? And then you're wondering, well, what the hell? Like, these things have like supernatural powers, and very, very cool film.
It's an MGM release, right?
Yeah.
So maybe fucking Scream Factory picked that shit up.
That's what someone said in the comments.
Someone did mention that, and I never even thought of that until they mentioned it.
I did think of it.
Fuck, dude. Honestly, if Scream Factory picked this up, I would
imagine the cover, dude.
Oh, dude, totally. I would be on Boner Central for like a month. It'd be insane because this is a perfect title.
We can influence Scream Factory's choice. Everybody get at them. Tweet them.
Totally. We should. I wonder if they even have, because I know that there's so many more films apparently that they have sitting around that they can release, but I hope this is one of them, man. This would be amazing.
There is some that they just legally can't get a hold of, but I mean... For sure. Yeah. If that one's available to get and enough people scream about it, it'll happen.
Totally. I mean, we've done this once before, JP. Remember when we were making our list with Body Bags, and we said, Body Bags, you need to release that, and they sure enough did. This is another title that would be a perfect Scream Factory release because it just fits the bill so well. It's such an awesome movie for such an awesome company. It's not a mediocre film. So, yeah, I highly recommend this. I give this like 9 out of 10. It's a great watch. I could watch this over again right now.
Sucks that it's out of print. This is one that I've actually seen before. It's been since I was a kid, but I remember it was really fucking cool. I remember when they first like are there, like they first come down and there's like scarecrows and shit. I remember it being pretty fucking cool looking.
Yeah, I love the look of the scarecrows, and I love the close-ups when the camera pans right on the scarecrows' faces. You can almost see them breathing. And I think they did that purposely, right? Because you're like, are these things alive or is that the wind? It kind of keeps you guessing. You're like, what the fuck is going on with this? But I do like the whole angle. I don't want to give too much about why, like, what the scarecrows are doing and why they're picking these people off one by one and stuff. But there is a purpose to their madness. It's not just random, which I think is very cool too. I really enjoyed it. It's such a great film.
That sounds very interesting. I wish that wasn't out of print because I'd totally buy that.
It's good, Jeremy.
Yeah, this movie's it seems to be, it goes for 20 and above kind of thing. I lucked out and I got this one for about 15 shit.
There is a version of this film that's in a 4-pack and it's kind of out of print ish too. It's with like Return of the Living Dead and something else, I think. And
Really?
yeah, I've seen it go for like $8 in the 4 pack.
Huh.
Ooh, but
I
you know
had no
my
idea
opinion
this
on
movie.
4 packs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of him either. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I want this film though. If I can find the 4 pack, I'll get it.
The reason why I just got this is because I could not find the right price. I've had it on a list to get for so long, and I couldn't pass it up. It was 15 ships, so that's probably the best price it's
You
gonna
know what?
find.
Just like 2 years ago, that film was going for like $8 used though. Like it just recently went like super high. You know,
Yeah, it's
20
crazy.
20 is super high to me. Like for a DVD that's used, I'm not gonna pay that.
Yeah,
No,
you
yeah,
can get it brand new on Amazon for 25.
yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
Let's
I'm still
not.
not paying that for a DVD, but
No,
Huh.
that's
What
crazy.
4 pack are you talking about? I can't find it. Huh.
I'll send you a link. I know how to. I think Frogs is in it too. Maybe.
Wow, that's a really weird 4 pack.
Yeah, I'm forgetting. There's something in it. I just can't remember.
All right.
Cool.
What's your pick of the week, JP?
My pick of the week this week is going way back. Going back to 1932. Can you guess what it is?
Frankenstein, Dracula. What came out in
No,
19? Oh, Freaks, Freaks.
it is Freaks. Todd Browning's Freaks. This is the first time I've ever seen it. This is kind of a short film. It only runs like 60 some minutes, I think, 64 maybe. Um, I've always known about it. I know Madison talked about it. She really likes it.
I love
Um,
that film.
it's such an interesting horror film. I mean, it's kind of horror, I guess. It's an interesting film in general because it's kind of at a different time, that's for sure. And all the actors in the film and actresses are what would be considered, freaks of the time. They're all natural people with abnormalities or whatever that word is. And it's kind of like their day-to-day activities in this circus. You're following these characters and you kind of, each one has their own, minor to major part in the story. But they're all there and they're all definitely interesting to see. The one that really kind of I found like super interesting was the one with no arms and no legs because Jesus Christ, that would suck. And like he's able to do things. Like he can light a cigarette. Like
Yeah.
it's like with only his mouth and he wobbles around, he can like move. Like he can move. Like that guy can move. He has no legs and no arms and he can move. um and of course it's it has a lot of commentary to it, obviously. It has a lot to do with the way we perceive and judge people, of course. And for the time I'm sure it's like pretty cutting edge shit,
Where
like
people were freaking
pushing
out.
pushing the envelope a lot on that, because even there's like a opening like monologue thing that says throughout history people who are born with deformities or anything like that are considered very bad things. Like they're some in some civilizations babies were left to die, just
Well,
thrown
yeah,
away.
that's the thing. If you were born, even a couple hundred years, maybe even 100 years earlier, they
threw
just
you away.
they
They just
they
threw
literally
That's
babies
just
away, dude.
yeah,
That's
they
fucked
would
up.
literally just basically execute you at birth. That's so crazy. Yeah. So
Yeah, so I mean it's fucking I hear a lot of people say it's slow. I didn't really get that feeling. I thought it was, of course it's going to be a little slow for the time, the era, but I mean, I thought it flowed really well. Like it kind of gave you this story about the, each, the love story deception type thing that happened.
Are you sure
And
about
then
that 4 pack?
I'm sure, dude, it might be an 8 pack or something, but it exists. I'll show you it after the show.
yeah, I never found this movie to be that short, or that slow either. I mean, considering the runtime on it, I thought it was
But have
pretty
you heard
stellar.
that? Have you heard people say that? Like it's boring till the last like 2 minutes or whatever. Like I've heard people say that before.
Huh. Maybe I have, but I mean, my personal opinion, though, I found it very intriguing. I found it very intriguing to see these, kind of real life, freaks, I guess, is the political term from back in the day, right? I guess we can't call them freaks anymore, but
quote unquote freaks.
but that was the thing, right? Like, it's very
Yeah.
intriguing to see these people that they like actually existed.
It's
like
an
a perfect
interesting
cast.
look into history and just it's fucking cool. It really is like an experience. It's like a learning experience and just kind of a
I know that Todd Browning took a lot of shit for this film because he used, like obviously real people and stuff like that, right? Because I think when it came out, there was a lot of talks about, just it's basically just a over the top exploitation film, and I think in those days that was kind of very frowned upon. I mean, if you're not using makeup and creating these monsters, and you're actually using real people with no arms and no legs, you're just looking at it as like a big exploitation, and it was kind of rough for the times for him. But I think that's why this movie's so fucking effective.
One thing that I honestly was wondering going into it, and to me, I didn't get one hint of exploitative like type of filmmaking there. Like, to me, it really didn't seem at all exploitive.
I think it's just the point of using those people in a film.
I understand why it was, but I mean,
yeah,
they were wrong. Like, is what I'm saying. Like,
totally, because especially like what happens in the outcome of the film, right?
Yeah.
You're not exploiting these characters at all.
Even it, like I said, the guy that lights a cigarette, with no arms, no legs. It's kind of almost showcasing, like, look, he can do this. Like, isn't that amazing? Like, so it never seemed to me like it was showing these things in a way that was, exploitive to the person. If anything, it was doing the opposite. And it was like kind of showcasing the amazing things that some of these people can still do. And I really, really, really found the main little person, I think that's the right word, very likable. Like, he was cool, man. He was a little cool dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You felt for him. But yeah, this is a film that is, I recommend everybody who's a fan of like film and horror should definitely see this one. It's something that definitely has its place in cinema history and stuff. I really, really enjoyed it. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, that's probably an appropriate rating for it.
And the ending, dude, come on, that was fucking wow.
I know, the ending's fucking amazing, and especially for the times too, right?
It was scary, dude. Like the Martin rain thunders and shit.
It's so beautifully shot. And one thing about this movie that I really, really love, and it just still it kind of creeps me out, is the fucking, maybe it's just because in general, but carnival music and that type of eerie soundtrack just, I don't know, man. I find it works so, I love that shit, man. It just works so well. I think the music is awesome.
Cool. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So that
What'd you think of the soundtrack, JP?
Good. Greatness.
Okay.
All right.
What did you say?
I said, yeah, I was just asking you about the soundtrack, like the music in it. I think it just works so well.
Oh yeah. Okay, I thought you said what did I think of the film? I was like, I said it was great the whole time.
No, just the way, like, carnival music, but that old school, like, that soundtrack is so fitting. Like, I mean, obviously this is kind of like the normal music that's played at these carnivals.
It was also the sounds around, like just the sounds of the carnival that really fit in well, and like the just the happenings going on around, it was just cool.
Yeah, I always think that carnival music is some of the creepiest sounding music ever. It doesn't even matter what type of setting you put that theme music in. It makes anything creepy. I don't know what it is about carnival music, man. It just gives me the willies, man.
All right. Is that everything?
Yeah.
All right. So that was all the films that we watched in the last 2 weeks or so, which, we're pretty shit on the shit stick with all of us on the amount of shit that we watched these last few weeks. So yeah. So now
Those was all actually films that I watched this week alone.
Yeah, this is all that I watched this week too, actually.
Yeah.
Not even all. Fuck, man, I left out like 6 films.
Yeah, we know that.
I watched a few before last week's show. But anyway, we're gonna hop into this segment for the film of the week. And it's one of my favorite films of the last 10 years, of course, and that, of course, is Jason Eisner's Hobo with a Shotgun, put out by Magnet, which is just a fucking awesome film. Should we talk about the story, or should we just hop right into our thoughts?
I think this is a film to where you really don't have to talk about the story too much. It's an exploitation style grindhouse film about a hobo set in a, post-apocalyptic semi-future type of world where crime is an all-time high. People are dicks and fucking just not regulated properly, and he gets fucking tired of it and fucking decides to kill motherfuckers with a shotgun.
Post-apocalyptic fucking city that's overrun by douchebag
two
fucking
douchebag
mobsters.
brothers who totally just has JP's favorite thing: a school bus full of kids getting burned to death. But your JP during that scene was
pretty crazy.
It's the funniest shit ever, man. I'm still laughing about that part.
No, my favorite part is the fucking with Santa Claus, man. Fucking hoses cracked my ass up.
Santa Claus is so dirty in that film.
I know, it is the way he fucking puts the shotgun in his face and just fucking blows his brains out. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean it's a complete rampage of this hobo guy.
Yeah,
played by Rutger Hauer, who is just blasting fools with a shotgun, man. It's
yeah, but it's so over the top fun.
It is very over the top, and I thought that the beginning, the like very intro with the credits and stuff, like I really liked how that was filmed for some reason. I don't know if it was like, it seemed like everything was more like colorful.
Yeah, on the railroad lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have the Blu-ray too. It looked really good.
Yeah.
So this film to me, I don't see much wrong with it. I mean, you know what you're going into when you deal with a film like this. I do have one complaint that I felt kind of bugged me watching this one, and it's pretty much the only like complaint that I have though. And I thought that the villains were kind of whack.
I think that's the point of it, JP.
I get it, and I also think that the dialogue was very whack. And I get that it's supposed to be like intentionally bad, but I think that it was bad intentionally bad. I think that it could have been better crafted, dialogue, crafted, badly written dialogue. You know what I mean?
You would not like Manborg then.
I do understand where you're coming from with that, because I was actually, I was just watching it too, and I mean, I've always thought that the brothers, they're complete douches, but I think that's what makes the dialogue, their shitty dialogues work so much because they actually are fucking idiots.
Yeah, like I think fucking shot in the.
Oh, I get it.
Like,
I think if they were really weird. Okay. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from totally. But yeah, they're just so douchey, and when they say shit, you're just like, what the fuck?
Douchey is the perfect word.
You're like, you guys are fucking idiots. So if they started saying witty things, I would have been like, oh, that doesn't really fit their character.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like some of the dialogue is just like completely just like there's an example where like the nurse is on top of the girl and she's like, don't die on me, you whore. And it's like, well, that's like really simple, right? Like, can't you just have a little bit like more? Like it's
supposed
just
to be like that, though.
I understand it's supposed to be intentionally bad, but there's a more creative way to be intentionally bad than just writing the first thing that pops into your head. Is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that this is a huge problem. It's just one thing that I found was like, I've seen more clever things than like, and there to me it just was like the dialogue was written in without even a second thought, and I kind of don't like that. No matter what you're dealing with, if it's supposed to be like that or not, I think you can do better. Like, I know this guy could have came up with some better shit, and I think he just went with the first things that he thought of.
It's his first feature-length film. You gotta cut him a break.
Well, Jason Eisner didn't write I don't think he wrote the screenplay for it. I think there was an actual writer for it, but that's besides the point.
I mean, it's a fun-ass movie.
It's a fun movie. The last sequence is just such a blast.
Yeah, it was written by a guy named John Davies. Yeah,
it's just so gory and so fun, blood squirting, dead alive type gore at the end of the film. It's just a whole
Oh,
bunch of fun.
totally.
Yeah. It's just a movie that, you know,
Now, I will say that the main villain I thought was done really well. Like that's on the flip side. I thought he had some cool dialogue. It was still bad dialogue, but it was more entertaining. It seemed like it was more thought out, and it seemed like the other stuff was just like, fuck, damn it, just horror.
But once again, I think it comes down to the actual characters. Like the guy that's running the whole show, the mob boss, probably should be a little more witty, considering he's got a whole operation. Like his sons are complete fucking douches.
It wasn't just the sons though. Like I gave the example of the nurse on top of the girl and was like, "Don't die on me, you whore." It's like that's kind of like it's kind of like
funny though.
It did. See, I didn't find it funny. That's my thing. It was like it was. I found like the funny stuff, like the kids like getting burned up and like the fucking heads being ripped off and stuff like that. That was funny to me.
See, I found the funniest kill in the movies in the beginning with the bumper cars with the guy's head getting fucking
that's funny. But and the kid who's like, "Mom, I'm telling you, I need my allowance early." Like that's funny. But the shit that's like just like cussing and just like just simple like it seemed like a 5-year-old wrote it.
Have you seen Gutter Balls?
No.
Do you not like Gutter Balls then?
I don't, but it's not that I don't like it. I still really like the movie. I like it a lot.
I'm saying you won't like the dialogue though, because Gutter Balls is fuck out of every other word is fuck. But
I think
that's fine. I mean, like a Tarantino film has a lot of fucks in it. You know what I mean? Like it's not about. It's just that it's the way that it was done. It was just like it just didn't have any like weight to it to me. I don't know. It was just one thing that I noticed that I didn't really care for too much. But I mean, there was a lot of things I really liked about this one. I actually really surprisingly liked the cheesy angle of the hobo and the hooker, and I was almost expecting a sequel film like one-armed hooker with a hatchet or one-armed hooker with a chainsaw or something.
Come on, spoilers, man! Giving spoilers away.
It's funny that you mentioned cheesy relationship between the hobo and the hooker. I thought that in the beginning of the film made me laugh so fucking hard when Rutger Hauer is looking in the pawn shop and he sees the lawnmower for sale and it's like $49.99 and like the music kind of cuts and is real cheesy and he's kind of like. And you're like, oh, he's gonna do something with his life. You're already rooting for him and shit. It's so cheesy.
And then he sees Santa Claus fucking.
Yeah.
He fucking finds the shit.
This is so good.
There is dialogue that I thought was funny, like when they're like, "We need to go start our own business." No, it's like I need to buy a lawnmower so I can start my own business. And she's like, "No, we." And like I thought that shit was funny, but there's just like so many other parts that I thought the dialogue was almost awful, honestly. But yeah, I mean, like the relationship between those two, I found it to be really entertaining. Like I was expecting it to come off like forcibly bad, like type of things, but no, it was really like well done. I liked it. And
it's just funny how like corrupt the police force really is. Like that guy he's like on the same douchebag level as the fucking brothers a little bit.
I almost wish they would have went even more like over the top with the town. Like I remember seeing films like Class of
Nukem High
1999 or Class of 1984, one of those films, and it's like it's really over the top, like violent, like crazy town. Like I kind of wish it would have been a little more like that. I mean, it still was pretty.
That was one thing that I actually I criticized too was the city, the look of the city too. I was kind of hoping it to be a little more what were you kind of looking for? I was looking for maybe a little more destruction and just obvious that it was post-apocalyptic.
Fucking buildings on fire and shit, and fucking people driving around in like almost like Mad Max type fucking cars.
Actually, that would be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about the Mad Max cars.
But I think they don't do that because I think they're afraid of the consequences of them building those type of things because, the main leader dude's a total dick.
Now, was this filmed in a foreign land?
It was filmed in the foreign land of Canada, more specifically Nova Scotia.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
which is not too far away from you, right, Moodz?
Nova Scotia is completely on the opposite side of Canada.
Fuck! My geography of Canada should get better.
Dude,
You
it's
gu- you
Canada.
guys-
It doesn't
you
really
guys-
matter. It's
you
fucking
two-
one place.
You two are just a hop, skip, and a jump from where this was filmed. I am, on the other hand, am so fucking far away from it. I couldn't be any further away from where this was
Fuck.
filmed.
I remember because I saw fucking Class of Nukem High Volume 1 or fucking it's playing in that fucking town.
Yeah.
Ooh. How did we not mention this? The fucking glass eating scene was so fucking well
Yeah.
done.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, that bothered me, man.
It's so badass, man. I love that scene.
Oh, it's
great.
not badass. It's fucking terrible. Oh,
It's awesome,
it
man.
really got to me, dude. Like, I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know. I was like, don't fucking eat it. Don't put that in your mouth. Chew it? What are you talking about? Chew it.
I
Yeah,
know.
but he gets his
Classic Mouth
revenge,
is like,
so.
It's
Yeah.
like stabbed in the eye.
And I like that dude. That dude who was like doing the bum fights thing. Like I thought that dude had some funny shit to say.
Yeah, it's a fun film, man. I really like it. I thought Jason Eisner, for his first full-length film, like, he fucking did a good job, man. Really good job with this,
Yeah,
man.
it's fun. It's a fun movie. It
I'm
just
just-
sucks there's not going to be a sequel.
I know it's kind of a downer, actually, to be honest. But I don't know. I mean,
He has a bright future anyway, so.
it's cool in itself that there probably will never be a sequel to this unless they come up with something like completely retarded.
I got to give Jason Eisner credit. He commented on my video of my review that I did when it first came out. I found
Yeah.
that like the coolest fucking thing ever. He actually commented on my video.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's even more amazing that
He's just chilling on fucking YouTube, typing in "hobo with a shotgun" every 10 minutes and seeing if anything.
Well,
came
I
up.
watched the first day it came out and I did my review because I fucking loved the film so much. So I think that was like the first review I ever did. I didn't do reviews before I met you guys, so you guys should be happy.
That tends to happen.
Yeah.
I think it was really cool that how they got Rutger Hauer to do the part in this. Like it started out as a joke, right?
Yeah.
They were just kind of mentioning people's names that they had an interest to do the lead, and they're like, "Oh, well, let's see if Rutger Hauer will fucking do the part," and then he totally accepted it. Like just totally random.
I couldn't think of
But,
anybody else being a better hobo though than he just plays it so good.
He does play it off well, man. He's that perfect age, and just
Yeah.
that look to him is just perfect, man.
I think the toboggan really, really, really brings out his hobo-ness.
Oh.
His hobo-ness.
Awesome.
The homeless.
Yeah.
You ever see the South Park Night of Living Homeless?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's a good one.
They only had cherry Pop-Tarts. We're
Yeah.
on strawberry Pop-Tarts. The fucking part made me crack up. But
So like, what else can we say about Hobo with a Shotgun? It's just
it's just a fun
fantastic.
film. It's a film
grindhouse.
everybody should watch. If you guys
I'm
like
actually-
that, you should check out Shock Festival, put out by a fucking Romero's son. It's a 3-disc set put out a while ago. It's a whole bunch of fake trailers and grindhouse stuff. It's a really
one
cool
thing-
set.
One thing we didn't mention was this film was one of the fake trailers originally, right, on the grindhouse.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole thing with the fake trailer thing was the competition, right? And no, that's what it was. It was he won the competition.
Yeah.
To have his fake trailer in the Grindhouse films when it was showed in theaters, and then they just went forward and made the film. I mean, it's so disappointing that a couple of those other fake trailers weren't
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. I mean, I'm glad that Hobo won the contest and ended up being made and stuff. But man, Thanksgiving, I want made so bad. That trailer, dude. Every time I watch it fucking.
I
makes me
love
laugh,
that
dude.
trailer, man.
Yeah, the fucking trampoline scene just makes me fucking.
Yeah.
But
laugh
it's
every time.
throughout the whole trailer of Thanksgiving. I keep want to say Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the voice in the background that just keeps saying Thanksgiving through the whole fucking thing. I fucking love that so much, man. It's so cheesy and awesome. But yeah, the trampoline. Oh, that movie would just be blast. It's so
Yeah,
much
it'd be
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Well, Eli Roth, you hear us, makes Thanksgiving.
And the motherfucker that pisses me off about him is he keeps saying he's going to. Like, dude, either just don't do it and tell us, like, it was a cool idea at the time, but it's really not my thing. Don't keep telling us you're going to do it and then never do it, asshole.
Yeah, you fucking dick.
Well, considering, I mean, the Green Inferno wasn't even a a forthcoming film when he did the trailer for Thanksgiving, right?
But he just recently said again, it was like a couple months ago, they like Thanksgiving. I almost said Thanksgiving too. The
No.
Thanksgiving is like still something he's interested in. So like, quit fucking saying you're gonna do it and be about it.
Just make the fucking movie. Like seriously, everybody wants to see it.
Dude,
Okay, we
I'm
gotta
sure you
start
can make it
tweeting
in like a week if you really wanted to.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Doesn't even have to make it long. Just make it like an hour or something. Entertaining film like fucking Manborg, and people will buy that shit up in no time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, anything else you want to say about Hobo?
See it. Everyone
see
needs
it.
to see
I
it.
rate it a 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10.
I will also give it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's a good rating.
All right.
Cool. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this 6th episode of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. Lots of interesting stuff going on right now in the horror world, especially with the Friday the 13th shit going on. We all watched a pretty good selection of shit on the shit-stained films. Next week we'll be talking about Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, which is one of the best made-for-TV horror films ever made. And the Blu-ray transfer is fucking phenomenal. But we'll talk about that next week. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. I am your host, NESRow22. You can follow me on my channel at youtube.com/NESRow22. Follow JP over at his channel at youtube.com/doubleshotj. Of course, you can follow this is YouTube celebrity Moodz over at his channel at youtube.com/Moodz616. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode once again. Please let us know what your top films of 1978 are down in the comments below. We always are reading those comments, so please let us know what you think of the show. And
shout out to David.
Yeah, shout out to David, man. He always leaves the fucking badass comments.
Also, we have a Facebook group page now if you're interested in that.
Yep. We'll put a link to that in the description, right, Moodz?
Yeah.
You set up the upload, so put a link down to that. If you guys want to join that, we have a little bit of a group going on over there because Moodz added a whole bunch of people, which is fun. So, yeah. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Hope everyone has a good rest of their weekend, and we should talk to you guys again next Saturday night. Peace.
Peace out, homies.